Well, good evening, everybody. It is Friday, April 9th, 2021. My name is Baron. I'm the host of the show here. Welcome to our live broadcast for fibbycharts.com. If you'd like to follow along with us, please be sure you do that and like and subscribe to our channel. And you can join us at our Discord at the unfairadvantage.chat, where you can see some of the stuff that we do perfectly free. You can join us if you'd like to get our live charts, of course. You can join us at fibbycharts.com, and you can see those things and subscribe to those. And it looks like our website looks like this. You simply just go right here, hit subscribe, pick out your subscription level, and you can get any excuse me, I had a glitch there. You can pick out your subscription level and pick out any level of charts that you want. Tonight we're going to be operating off of the platinum level, which is becoming a fast favorite amongst our group. And you just simply go there, subscribe, hit that, go to platinum, and it'll open up. We got some new coins now that are added to the platinum. We will not be covering those in the live stream out of respect for the guys that are paying good money on a month, but we've recently added Raiden, Bow Finance, Hollow, Zap, and we've also added Origin and a few others that we're going to be adding. So we've got 3 more slots we're getting ready to fill here pretty darn soon. So you're going to want to be a part of that. So let's go ahead and get started with tonight's broadcast. Give me just a second. And before we get too far down the line here, let's go ahead and cover some housekeeping. I am not a authorized financial advisors, so anything that you do strictly of your own accord. I'm just simply sharing my opinions. You do what you do, I do what I do, and we get along just fine. So with that being said, hang on just one second. I'm going to kill my microphone. Let me get set up and we'll start the show. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm having one of those days. So I finally got to the dentist and I got back. Oh, man. $11,000 worth of dental. I'm looking down the barrel of $11,000. No insurance, all out of pocket. Woo! Man, that hurts. That hurts more than the actual surgery, I think. Actually, to me, that kind of hurts more just the lost opportunity of what I can do with $11,000. So to me, I can 10x that quite easily with crypto. That's $100,000, man. That hurts. I don't care who you are. So we better make some money. Me chiefly among us. We better be making some money here so I can get this face of mine paid for. The show must go on, right? No, I didn't get any drugs. They basically looked at my mouth and gave me a bill, and I think that was enough for that was enough for one day. Charged me $400 to tell me they're going to charge me more at 20. What was it? How did I put that? They charged me $400 to tell me they're going to charge me 11,000. So, God bless the medical profession. I think I went into the wrong profession. Yeah, oh my God, OMG is breaking out. So the free call continues to be the gift that goes on giving. So we'll cover all that here in the show pretty quick. So pardon me here, I'm just getting my act together. I'm literally, my sleep has been screwed up. I woke up at I got up at super early this morning to go to the dentist, and I crashed again. So I'm up at the crack of 7 p.m. So my day's just getting started. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at a few things here. Let's see what's going on with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, I did take a quick sneak look at this. It's pretty much trending sideways. So, pretty much the title of the show is, are we taking a nap here? Are we looking at a crash? I always kind of like to address the title cards so that people don't think that I'm being clickbaity or anything like that. We're just kind of at an indecision point right now. I have long, as you guys have been following the show, you guys know that I'm anticipating some sort of hard correction, and I think the case for it is starting to stack up higher and higher because we're just not getting that massive pullback. I mean, if you wanted to look at most pullbacks, or probably the most glaring example of a pullback, you would see it in THETA with that 30% pullback, but that's not market-wide, so that really doesn't count. THETA needed to have that anyway because it was already being kind of ridiculous as it was, so it had to come back and settle back with the pack. So that was just basically getting its fair share of rotation theory, where it was just getting the feature pump of the week or whatever. And so that far outstripped even what the so-called professionals were saying. Most people were calling for $8, $9, that thing just screamed right past it. So it kind of caught everybody with their pants down. So that has to kind of settle back down to a more normal level before it's going to start operating with the rest of the pack. And I'm not saying it's not going to continue upward, but those outrageous gains that we're seeing there are just not going to happen for a little while. So it's going to be on the back burner, and something new is going to come to the forefront. OMG certainly seems to be that thing. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and address Bitcoin here and kind of get that out of the way. So we're looking at basically just kind of a sideways move here. Nothing really chartable. We're still looking at the same old thing that we've been looking at. I'm expecting that when we do see those moves, we just kind of like to watch and see where we are. 10% to get down there into a red zone. We're getting closer and closer, guys. I'm not expecting any huge runs for Bitcoin. Sitting at 58 here, I think that as we get closer and closer, my target zone for weirdness in the general market is around about the 15th. I think this week is going to be the final act. I mean, if we don't see something by April 15th, I'm going to call into question everything that I know about financial markets, and I know about accounting and about the way businesses. There's certain things that just have to happen. So this is going to be a really sketchy week. And to be very straightforward with you guys, I'm not investing in nothing right now. I've got loads of dry powder. I got the stuff that I'm holding, my Cardano, my XRP, my Stellar, but I'm not jumping into anything new, because if you think these deals that I'm about to show you are good, you haven't seen anything yet, because you know how this works. The minute you guys start to jump into something, oh shoot, the thing drops, and then you're like, damn it, if I only would have bought lower. So this is coming, and it's hard to wait for. We've been waiting for it for about better than a month now, it seems like. But deep down in your soul, this is coming. So it's just a simple matter of just wait for the opportunity, because I assure you, is coming. It has to. That's the way markets work. So now Ethereum's kind of been outperforming Bitcoin. Heard something on YouTube somewhere with one of the talking heads was saying something about how Ethereum and Bitcoin are pretty much linked together. Well, that kind of really hasn't been the case of late. Ethereum has been pulling ahead of the pack. Now that could be for a little while, then it can relink with Bitcoin. However, Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin on a move for move basis recently. You know, as I'm looking at this chart, I'm calling. You can see we have a very obvious move here according to TA, but we're just not seeing it. So we're still seeing that foolishness of giving us the opposite of what we expect. Does that mean that we should turn and go up? This is the move that should have happened. So all I can do is give you the TA. I can't tell you that these are predictions. That's why I'm not making these green and I'm not making them red, because yellow means caution. Yellow and gray mean caution. I'm not going to go put in green and red when I know that full well that I can't trust these lines. I can tell you the move, but I can't tell you, I can tell you the velocity, but I can't tell you the directions. So that one's pretty much off the table. So I can show you the expected move, but again, I don't have a lot of faith in it, so I don't expect you guys should either. So it's just really more of a watch and see kind of thing. So right now what we're doing is we're tracking the market to see if there's anything that's playing out the way we expect, and the answer is no, it's really not. Yeah, ETH definitely decoupled from Bitcoin. Did you read that thing, or did you hear that thing on? It's been being passed around. A lot of the talking, they all kind of start talking in unison. One copies another, but the theme of this week's YouTubers has been on how Ethereum is decoupled. Yeah, I've had a few of you guys ask me, where do I think Ethereum's going in the near to short term? $2,500. I can say that emphatically. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to see Ethereum at $2,500. I don't doubt that we're going to see $2,800 by the end of the year. $3,200 could be very possible by the very end of the year, but that's a bit far, and I wouldn't be investing it in anyway. Hang on just one second here. I got to shut my mic off. Yeah, so as far as Ethereum goes, really the only reason I watch, and I've said this numerous times, but I'm going to continue to say it because it's just good advice. The only advice that I will give on YouTube, watch these Ethereum prices for dips, because you have to do this. You have to take an active interest in Ethereum, because it's part of, if you want to invest in any of these ERC20 coins that we're going to be talking about on the show tonight, you got to have the gas to be able to do it. It makes no sense to pay a premium price on this because it rapes your profit. So if you're trading on a reef, for example, which is a coin that we talk about a great amount on this show, and we talk about a great amount in the gold and platinum and levels that are on phibicharts.com and on the Discord, you got to buy the Ethereum. You got to buy the means to be able to buy this cost effectively, or otherwise it just rapes your profit. So I'm looking forward to the day when Ethereum kind of has to start being more competitive, or has to be more competitive with a Cardano and with a Polkadot, because the day is coming, I assure you. But day's not here just yet. So buy it when you can. When you buy, definitely, if there ever was a case for the old saying, buy the dips, Ethereum is absolutely one you want. It still seems to be shaping up for a drop, but if this didn't play out, then the next thing we have to do to kind of give you a little bit more extended TA on this, we're still looking at a move here that hasn't closed out yet. So we could be a little optimistic here and hope for maybe we can get you one of these right here. And wouldn't you know, look at that, right to the top of that. So, you guys are never surprised by these things, how they line up so well, because that's the system. But we do have an opening move that never closed out here, so it's very possible that that could play out. So that's our best bet for right now. And again, I did make an actual call a couple weeks ago right there. So I guess I'm going to stick to my guns and cross my fingers and say, there you go. That's where, if I'm going to be buying Ethereum to try and save myself some gas, I'm going to be buying right here. And let me go ahead and, for you phone guys that can't see the charts very well, 1720 might be your best bet. Yeah, I think, Zach, I think June. Pardon me if I'm not forming my words correctly. I have a broken tooth, so if I'm not pronouncing my words correctly, I'm kind of struggling with a swollen tongue. So forgive me. I do know how to speak. I'm quite eloquent, but not when I have a broken tooth. So it's just one of those things. So I've had a hell of a week. So I'm struggling, but the show must go on. All right. So Litecoin, I'm just going to kind of glance over Litecoin. I just kind of take a passive interest in it. It really, there's nobody that's really paying that much attention. So we still have, we still have a lot of these moves that are going to be very comparative. So there again, there's that opening move that hasn't closed out. We could take that thing down here. Ooh, that's a hell of a drop. And that would take us right down here into confluence. So it's extremely possible. I'm going to get rid of that straggler there. I don't know what that's doing there. So it's extremely possible we could see Litecoin drop. You know, is anybody buying Litecoin? I'm not, because personally I just don't find any use for it, that you can't get a better investment. I think it's a little spendy. You know, I wouldn't go dropping $220 or even 175 on Litecoin. In the far future, I've heard many predictions for Litecoin being in the couple thousand range, but you know, to me, it's just not a sexy investment. You know, I don't chase Litecoin. I did have a chance way back when Coinbase kind of screwed me to own this at $90, but that was back when Litecoin, or when Coinbase was taking nearly a week to authenticate your deposits, and so I missed a $90 buy, and ever since then I've never shown any interest in Litecoin. So I think it would take a pretty hellacious crash for this thing to come down. We would almost have to come down into the 110, 120 range before I would probably ever throw a side glance at Litecoin, because I just see too many other good projects at far cheaper where I can buy more of it and catch a much higher ride up. You know, who's to say where this thing is going to go? But for me, it's not really an investment that I pay that much attention to. However, when it comes to paying attention, I am hovering over this. So here we go. We had a move that should have played out, should have gone top of the channel, follow the TA perfectly. Now, I'm not saying that this may not still play out, but I did tell everybody in gold, I told everybody in platinum, don't get too excited yet. But if the opening and closing measured moves, now let me explain what I'm talking about there. So we have an opening and closing move. To go back and kind of circle back for you guys that are new to the show. I have some theories. I look at everything as kind of a system, so you won't hear a lot of my theories. You won't hear anywhere but on this channel. I'm a systems engineer, and I look at everything, including this grid that we'll talk about here a little bit, because I always got to talk about my grid. I use a system involving artificial intelligence, a little bit of remote viewing, a little bit of intuitiveness. I'm a natural-born intuitive. I've got those skills. I just don't tout them very much. But I use quite a few techniques that you won't find on any other YouTube channel. And so pattern recognition is something that I'm extremely good at. And I've found several different patterns that exist within standardized charting. And let me give you one right here. So we have something, every chart, usually there's an opening move, and then something will go along and there'll be a closing move in one way or another way. You always get an equal open and equal close. And so for right here, we never got an equal close for this run up. So that's suggesting this could have been the move right here. However, we never got it. So we're still anticipating closing this move right here. And that could be here, or it could turn and go down that way there, which is extremely possible too. I mean, if we get a crash, nothing's saying we can't go down. But I will tell you, you guys that follow the show, you know that when I make a call on distance, I'm going to be right. The question is, we just have to figure out where to place it in the timeline. So I think we're about 50-50 on whether this thing is going to take another leg up or down. I am of the mind that XRP is not going to follow the pack. The further we get closer to this lawsuit settlement, I think the more XRP is going to start playing its own game, separate from the rest of the crypto community. So I've got my eggs in the up basket. Because, I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, why would XRP be going down when the rest of the market's going down and the news is getting better for XRP and everybody's been holding for these outrageous prices? So nothing suggests to me, even if it does go down, who cares? I'm not going to be selling this stuff anyway. It is going to go much higher, much, much, much higher. So I'm not worried about it going. We're just monitoring things as they play out. But I do like to kind of watch these things and see. Now, I'm looking for buying opportunities. I'm certainly looking for buying opportunities. If it goes down here and we fall down onto this dotted red line, I'm going to be all over that with two hands, scooping up as much as I possibly can. However, the likelihood is not that good. I think the lowest we probably would go in any future drops, dips, and or whatever, I just cannot see us going below probably, let's conservatively say 73 cents. I just cannot see XRP going lower than that unless we get into some major thing that just sucks it down for a temporary time. But I think the good news of what's coming with the SEC, because if you guys who are following the SEC thing, those boys don't have a leg to stand on. Even if they were a three-legged table, they wouldn't have a leg to stand on. They are grasping at straws, and they know it. Right now, they're trying to save face, and they're losing the ability to do that. So I think we might see the coming together of a lot of good things here, probably. So we might see the rest of the market take a dump where XRP gets the good news, comes out, and everything just goes split two ways. Everything goes down, XRP goes up. Somehow I wouldn't be very surprised by that. Actually, secretly, I'm hoping that's exactly what plays out, because I want to take my XRP and I want to shred off a little bit, and I want to jump into THETA, which I'm expecting to take a massive dip. That was always my plan, is to watch the XRP run up and then throw it over into THETA, and THETA got away from me here. But if XRP comes back from behind and THETA takes a good hard dip, I'll be back in the game. So one way or the other, XRP is going to far outperform THETA. So whatever my eventual swap across price is, I'll ride THETA up to its multiple thousands here. That's my tier 2 move. So, and a few of you guys are following my same pattern. So let me take a couple minutes here real quick, because I see a lot of people are joining the stream here. So again, these charts that you guys are looking at here, if you're new to the stream, you can subscribe to those at fibbycharts.com, and we have plans that go all the way up to diamond level. So you guys can get in, you can trade if you just want to trade Doge, if you just want to do the shit coins, if you want to learn, we have a class we're teaching. I will be getting back to my class here with my tooth. I've been having a little bit of health problems and stuff with my voice, etc., etc. But the class will be continuing on here shortly. And again, obviously, you guys that are trading, I have a lot of you guys that are trading, and you're asking, what level should I be buying in at? It's kind of my belief that really, honestly, if you're trading with 25,000 or more, you probably should be in our elite level, because we're covering a lot more stuff. We're starting to get into, we're cautiously approaching NFTs and stuff like that, but a lot of DeFi stuff. Well, we're currently searching out some DeFi, some safe DeFi programs that we believe in, and we're introducing those guys to our platinum levels. So there's a lot of good stuff going on in platinum that's not going on in gold. However, find what works for your budget and stuff like that. There's money to be made at every single level, so we definitely want to have you join. And of course, no matter what you do, we want you to join us at the unfairadvantage.chat, which is our free Discord. And every once in a while, I'll throw out a freebie for the group, just as a thank you for being a part of our community. And one of the ones I've thrown out is OMG, and that sucker is paying and paying. I can't even remember what the last profit was, what percentage we were, but I'm sure it's quite a bit higher now. So we'll check in on that here in just a couple of minutes. All right, so anyway, back to XRP real quick. So basically where I'm saying, we're just basically waiting. I think probably by Sunday we're going to see some sort of a pop-out move, but it would imply that basically right now, zooming in on this, on the micro level, it looks like it's ready for another micro leg up. That's pretty much just doing business. It's not really, we're looking at probably a move about like that. Nothing to get terribly excited at. It's following generally this overall trend right here. So nothing to get too terribly excited about, but it's nice to see it going. Right now we're basically struggling to kind of break this all-time high, but we're smashing it so many times. This could, if we get past this trend line here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a lot of tries. You can't really count that. 5. So we've hit that AI line 5 times, maybe possibly more times. So we got to hit that and convincingly break. Once we break this level at 1.08, I think we're looking at the next convincing move up. And that might be the thing that pushes a move up into this channel here and starts to get us up into some higher moves. And at that point, we might be looking at a move. This is all theory, of course, mind you. But we might be looking at a move probably more along those lines. I'll just go ahead and throw it in here because I have a gut feeling I'm probably going to be right. We're probably looking at about $1.33 when we take that next line up. But don't be surprised. Because that's in confluence with generally what we'll do is we'll get to this point and then we'll get a shock move and then we'll go ahead and we'll do that closing move. So that closing move lines up very well with our all-time high, our predicted closing move, which drops it. It's a grid. Everything kind of comes together in missing puzzle pieces that kind of fit together. So I can easily see that probably hitting $1.33, which will be a hell of a nice thing to see after sitting forever and ever and ever watching your XRP finally grow. But party's definitely not over at $1.33, so don't even think about selling. And that is advice. Don't even think about selling at $1.33. You would be foolish if you did. So now a lot of the market is following the same trajectory as Chainlink, so we can see that the market has definitely turned. So these upper predictions are just not happening. So this thing is making a very convincing move down to a level where I've been kind of calling. So I can see us getting down to this past price call of $25 in fairly short order. I don't think it's going to be a matter of too long before we go boom boom down something like that. From there to there, we're creeping closer and closer. We're 18.5%. We were 20, now we're 18. We're getting closer, closer, closer. So the next thing, we just basically have to break through these three boxes. We're going to ping pong down. Once we fall into this box, we're heading in the right spot. Once we get into this box and ping pong along, as we will, because you can see we have quite a bit of historical support and resistance here. Quite a bit actually, quite a bit. Going back and back and back. So we're going to spend a fair amount of time trying to convince ourselves we want to go lower. But once we do, we're going to punch through that. We're going to fall down into the level of about $27. But the moves are not over. If we can make this and we can make this, then we certainly can make this. So I do believe, and again, there's that opening move. You could call this, if you wanted to, I don't tend to believe it that way, you could call this move right there, opening and closing move. Fair enough, I'll concede that. Now we have to start a new move. So if we wanted to start a new move, the new move would be right here, and we definitely are trending downwards. So I would probably say that this move is opening. So let me sketch that in for you. This move right here was opening. Actually, as I look at this, we actually have two. There's another one right there. So now we have to close the move. Sometimes it just becomes a matter of hunting out the patterns. So now I'm more convinced than ever we're going down. So you can see what I talk about by opening and closing moves. It happens religiously. Open, close, open, close, open, close. It's not something anyone shows you on anywhere else on YouTube. It's an exclusive to this channel. But it works. Works over and over and over again. If you can find the patterns, if you can figure out the machine, you can figure out what the machine's going to do next. So that's what we're all about doing here. Okay, so Bitcoin Cash, not one we paid an awful lot of attention to, nor will I probably do very much with this. These things are all just too expensive. A lot of guys that are on the channel, they want to make some money. They don't want to be fooling around with a $600 coin, and I don't blame them. Honestly, I just don't see when a coin gets up into the price range that we're talking about with this, it's really a matter of just watching it to see if it agrees with the rest of the market, because this thing isn't going to come out of nowhere and turn into a $3,000 coin, and it would have to make it worth the money that you're investing. So I just like to look at it, acknowledge what it's doing, compare it to the rest of the market, and here again, just to show you. Opening, closing, opening, closing. So you'll see the exact same thing play out again and again and again. So, and to be honest, if no one's really following Bitcoin Cash, I may delist it off the charts because it's just a waste of time. I don't want to spend my time charting anything if you guys aren't getting any advantage for it. I would rather bring on a new hot mover. So I'm going to be assessing to get back to Platinum here. This is all the stuff that's available on Platinum. So I may be pulling a few of these. So again, like I said, we've just added Raiden, we've just added Biofinance, Hollow, and Zap. Some recent ones, and Origin, by the way. We just added Matic and Pundi. And so I'm watching a lot of these to see if they're worth it. And you know, the ones that we've been adding though, like BitTorrent and Graph. I mean, I added Tron, and these things just the minute I list them, all of a sudden they just start screaming. I had some interesting discussions, and I think this is probably a good time to bring this up publicly. And I don't mind, and it's cool, but I would like the credit for it. I'm going to call out some people that should know better publicly, and I'm not going to make a big thing out of this, but it's very obvious that it is happening. It's happened close to about 8 times, so it's very obvious that it's happening. We have some people that are in our Discord group who are claiming to be psychics, who are claiming to be insiders and whatever, and they are not. And I won't name names. I think you can figure out who they are. I've made a number of calls using my system, using my AI system, and the minute I list, all of a sudden the psychics start coming out and making predictions, and then all of a sudden the coins start moving. It's kind of funny. It's funny once, it's funny twice, it's funny 3 times, but when it happens 7, 8, 9, 10 times, then you start to wonder, you know, do you have a fly in the ointment? So I will say this publicly to you guys who are telling people that you're psychic or whatever. I'm going to make a call just to screw your program up. And when I do, I'm going to call you out publicly. So watch your step. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about it. Watch your step, because I'm on to you, I'm watching you, I know who you are, and I know who you are in my Discord. So when you make these calls and mislead people, I am not going to be a part and parcel to that. So just understand that, you know, what goes around comes around, all right? So digibyte is just basically just kind of hanging out. It's trending ever higher. You know, digibyte is one of these things that I bought in at 3 cents. I owned just an obscene amount of it. I believed in it. I still believe in it, but you know, it's becoming very hard to want to look at this thing. You know as well as I do that eventually this thing is going to have its day. But oh, believe me, Zach, I'm going to do it. I'm just an ornery bastard. I will do it. Oh, believe me. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not exactly timid when it comes to speaking my mind. So, oh, we'll see. We'll see. So I'll leave it at that. I'm not trying to get strikes on my channel and stuff like that. You know, we're not trying to turn this into a hate fest. So, but I will to kind of not to put too fine a point on this. You guys that are part of my Discord, you know where my heart's at. You know that I want your best interest. I want to see all of you guys do well. And, you know, karma sucks. Yeah, absolutely. Karma sucks. So, you know, what good is served by misleading people? You know, you get the short-term pump of acting like you know something or whatever, but you know, it's just not cool. It's not cool. So, and you have to understand that I am a real estate investor. I specialized in foreclosure, and I've sat across the table from thousands of people on the financial edge of ruin. And so I understand. I have a very big heart when it comes to dealing with people that are you know, they're holding their last stimulus check, they're holding their last dollar. And if they're getting their advice from someone who basically doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, and they're putting, you know, because this person has a soft voice or some ethereal music in the background, or, you know, says that they talk to spirits or whatever. And I'm not saying that some of them don't, because I'm associated with some of them that do. They're very good at what they do. However, there are a fair amount of them. There's always the scammers and the delusional people out there that think they're hearing voices that I don't know what they're hearing, but they're not, you know. But they're spending time on my Discord, and they're spending time on my charts, and some of them even subscribe to my Platinum. You got to be careful who you listen to. I try not to ever come out as an authority on anything. You know, this is why I use yellow lines and gray lines. When I'm not sure about something, I spend my money. I put my money behind these investments. And when I say, hey, listen, you know, I like XRP at this price, that's because I've got a considerable amount of money down on it. You know, and if I don't, I like OMG. I was in on OMG with you guys when I said, hey, OMG is going to go to 20 to 25. I jumped in on it, and look what's happened. Here, we'll visit that here in a little bit. So I was in on the ride with you. I want you guys to do well, you know. I mean, but I'm human just like the rest. But my point is though, I don't like to see people being misled, especially the little guy, because I mean, you know, what we're facing in the future right now. I want as many of you guys to be able to survive the hell that's coming. And you know, I have a much deeper window on the stuff that's coming, and it's just going to be hell on earth. I mean, to put somebody into a position where basically they trusted someone that didn't know, it's the blind leading the blind. There's a special place in hell for those people, you know, as far as I'm concerned. So that's enough preaching on that. I just want to make it clear to those that are following. You know, you're welcome to be here, but clean up your act, guys and girls. Clean up your act, because, you know, I'm watching. Okay. So Tezos, this is one. Now my predictions, you want to hear a real prediction? I've been telling you guys forever and ever and ever. Buy Tezos. When it was $2, buy Tezos. And now we're looking at $7. You want a prediction? There's a prediction. Anyone who's an old schooler in my Discord, anyone who's an old school subscriber to my charts will tell you the Baron was saying, sell a kidney if you have to. That was an old school joke of ours. Sell a kidney if you have to, but buy Tezos. And you can see how right I was. And let me tell you what, if you think $7 is good, you haven't seen jack squat yet. This thing is going to go to hundreds. This is a fabulous, fabulous coin, in my opinion. If you don't own Tezos, the window's closing. The deals are still good, but, you know, not like it would be at a $2. But when you buy it at $7, wait for a pullback, obviously, because we'll get a little bit of a pullback. But the move right now is not over. Let me show you this. So right now, currently, there's every bit to believe. So we've had the opening and the closing moves. You can see when I tell you something, I'm not screwing with you. You can see there's an opening and a closing. There's an opening. There's a closing. Sometimes these things run in tandems. Opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing. Isn't that funny how that works? These are patterns. If you know how to recognize the patterns, if you know how to use the AI grid and the AI lines and the pulse markers, you can just whoop this market's ass over and over and over again. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win, but we win a whole lot more than we lose, as you guys can testify. All right, so we're going to win a little bit more. Let me show you this. This is a pretty believable move incoming. Not a huge one, but a pretty easy move. So Tezos is about to make another 6.5% move. No food fight yet. we don't throw food here. I would like to have like a quick comeback for that, but I'm failing at the moment because I'm trying to form my words correctly with my swollen tongue. But I'd love to have a witty thing to say right now, but I'm failing at the moment. So no food fight. All right, so Tezos. Basically, so we're really, let me kind of channel up here, so to speak. we're moved up into the next channel. You guys know that I tell you that, you know, we go channel to channel. So basically, if we move this channel up to the next hypothetical level, you can see right about where we should expect to be here. Let's zero in on this a little bit here. We bring that, there you go. So if we make that touch there, and there, look at that, perfect hit. So that's about where we should expect to see Tezos in a perfect world. Yeah, I'll do ETN. ETN, actually, you guys, I wanted to talk about this at the top of the show. I got too many things to kind of front load on the show. You guys saw some new stuff got listed on Coinbase. Coinbase, man, oh man, I mean, it's just on a tear. So how long until we see Digibyte? How long until we see THETA get listed? You know, they're going to be IPOing here pretty soon. So they're trying to load the boat and look like the Walmart of crypto, everything you could ever possibly want. So that would explain a lot, because I mean, I don't know how many they've added in just the last year, but it would seem to me they've just about doubled their offerings over the last 365 days. So that doesn't surprise me a little bit. So I really, honestly, I would seriously expect to see THETA, tfuel, and possibly VeChain. I've heard rumors about VeChain too. That'd be wonderful if we could start getting some of these, you know. So that being said, don't think that just because they get listed that they're going to skyrocket after the Coinbase effect, because Cardano has very clearly proven that doesn't work. But nonetheless, you know, it'll be good for an in and out. You know, we'll be able to stop using Uniswap for some of this crap. You know, I mean, it's just brutal. You know, to buy something like a reef and have to pay these exchange fees and then take a second hit from something like Uniswap or one of these decentralized, my God, I mean, you got to buy this stuff right in order to be getting any profit out of it. It has to go 25% in order to break even or get close. So, but yeah, I have to go back and look and see here. Let me open up a screen, or let me open up my portfolio off screen here. I looked at this just the other day. One of our mods posted this, and I can't remember what they just listed, but they just listed enjin. So we do have enjin in all levels of so we've had enjin for a while. I've told you guys this was going to be something. Never expected it was going to be listed on Coinbase, so all the better. So this thing is sitting. Well, I want to hop around a little bit. This thing is sitting. So basically, that explains the big run up. But getting back to what I said, you guys have heard me say that sleepers wake up running. Well, we now know the reason why it woke up running. But was I right? Sleepers wake up running. Well, there's a nice little sprint. This is Coinbase. Very, very obviously Coinbase. Now, is it over? No, I would not call that over. However, I will tell you the Coinbase effect will only last so long. So wouldn't surprise me in a mass pullback to see that possibly settle back down a little bit, back down to this AI line here. So don't get excited about jumping in on enjin yet, because I think this exuberance might die off a little bit. We're already kind of seeing that. You know, you see these nice tight lines where people just keep going, and all of a sudden, this is probably when it started trading. And you know, then there's the people taking profit, and this is an opening move. This is a closing move. So from here, where do we go? I think that this was the entire move involving Coinbase, and I think that it's over. I think the good feelings and the good vibes are over right now. So now the reality has to settle back in. So where do I see this going? Well, to be honest, probably don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, because we had our original level is right in that general area there. So this is nothing more than basically just a listing pump. You know, we haven't had a true old-fashioned listing pump for a long time. But I mean, you know, look at the history on this thing. There's an opening and closing move right there. So I mean, you know, we've had a little bit of a, hard to say what that is so long ago, but is there anything here suggesting that we should just all of a sudden see, you know, blue sky Not going into the next week, there isn't. Now, in the future, yes. So what I would tell you is if you're late to the party, now that you can get it easier, you may want to entertain buying this thing on a dip because now it makes sense because it's a much more publicly traded thing. It's got some use case. It's being used right now, but don't buy it at full price. So you're looking at a potential drop back. 20%. How often have we heard that number? So from where we're at right now, wait for about a 20%, which is reasonable. Hell, we could just put that at that line right there and still feel pretty good about it. Fact of the matter is, let's do that. I'll show you some. There's some historical support and resistance right there. So wouldn't surprise me at all to see us bang off of that. I'll go ahead and put a marker in there so you guys can get an actual buy price. So 280 would be a pretty reasonable spot. What was this about ETN hitting $51? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. What determines the slope of the channel? Good question. The bots, the computer. Really don't. See, now I'm using, well, I should be. There's logarithm. I usually use logarithmic scale. Don't try to understand what logarithmic scale means, but let me demonstrate. It's not a one-for-one. Let me explain what I'm talking about. So if I chart something up here and I drag that down, notice how much longer it changes length on logarithmic. If I put it on logarithmic, there we go. If I drag this down, notice how much longer that's getting as I go to the bottom. So the way that I tell everybody this is it's kind of like staring over the horizon. You lose perspective on distance. So this is almost like being charted out on a cylinder a little bit. It just compacts the business at hand. So most of the time I'm usually using logarithmic. So in answer to your question, nothing determines the slopes because we've seen slopes that are at 45. 45 is very common. We've seen them at 55, 60, and stuff like that. I mean, there's a slope right there. You would never call that 45. So it's just a matter of just finding the channel, identifying the channel. It's irrelevant as to the pitch of it. So I'll go ahead and let me use my favorite tool here, my rainbow deal. So if I wanted to come across here and grab those high points and drop them down. Let me get that right on. I'm going to get this out of here for just a second. So I could look at this any number of ways if I chose to. I could look at it. There we go. So now you can see multiple channels. There's a channel right there. We've dropped into the next channel. So we'll probably penetrate that one and just drop into that one and that one. And you start to form a grid. So I'm going to leave that there for you guys that are tracking Enjin. I don't often leave those rainbows on there, but it's a good tool to have sometimes. Duncan, are you a member of, I know your name, are you a member of our Discord, presumably? If you are, we've got 2 statisticians, mathematicians in our group then. That's quite impressive. Dr. Ming is he's a college level professor of stats, among a few other things I can't talk about publicly. All right, so let's get back to business here. Sorry about that, but I digress. All right, so theta. Oh, I bite my tongue when I grind my teeth when I watch this thing make an upward move. So I'm still on the hope that we're going to come down into this yellow box. I see evidence for it. Hey, Rhonda, how you been? I'm still watching for a downward move. And so to pick this move, come on now, to pick this move up right here and close it out somewhere, we could close it out right there, very, very easily, right to that yellow box. That's where I kind of got my hopes and dreams set right now. I want to see it do that and more. And as I've said to you guys before, I'm expecting this to go down because it's in the give back phase right here, and you can see the broader narrative. There's a huge run up. We have to slowly give it back in segments, or we have to give it back in one hard crash, which, you know, that was a hellacious run up. So, but you can see we're giving it back little by little. So I expect that we'll come down into this yellow box to at least give back this portion, which we're certainly trying desperately to do. And then from there, where do we go? Well, the next move down would be down to the next level of confluence, or next level of support and resistance, which is down here. And I really want to see it get down here in the green. And I still am holding the line on seeing this green box be the ultimate buy. So if all, we'll get to ankr, Jay. You know, if we're going to see a really crappy week, you know, THETA, it's a few people who are pretty credible have said that when we get a downturn, THETA is going to suffer it worse than all the others. And that falls well in line with what I've often said. What goes up fast comes down hard. And yeah, it went up faster than everything else, so naturally it has to come back down harder than everything else. So I'm not going to give up on the narrative that this double green box here is probably ultimately where we're going to be. Anything below that, though, these are hopes and pipe dreams. They're not going to happen. I really don't believe they're going to happen, because from here just to get to the green box, we're still looking at, to get to the top of that box, 37%, to get where I'd like to be, 40%, to the bottom of that box, 50%. That's a bold move. And we'd have to have some really, really bad move, or bad news, to get down to 50%. I'll cover all these things, guys. So I'll go through the charts, so don't worry about it. You don't need to call them out. Ankr and graph and stuff we'll cover. So for THETA, as I said, if you want to know what THETA is doing, if it's not being honest with you, just look at little brother. Just look at tfuel. Tfuel is being a lot more honest about its direction. And there for a little while, it was looking like, well, the TA was suggesting maybe I was wrong. Well, I wasn't wrong. I was telling you that the thing is basically going to be making a move lower. So right now, currently, we're in the ping pong box. So if things continue on a downward trajectory, we're going to end up deeper down into the ping pong zone, and eventually we're going to be hitting this yellow box, and then hopefully down here to my green hard pullback box, which again is a move from here to the top of that box of 34 to 35%. So fairly easy to do in a couple of stages. You'll have to do a couple of 15% moves, but we see those all day long, all the time. So Atom has been coming up in the news a lot lately, a lot. And so I'm not surprised to see a little break from the pack and a move up. I watched this one with great interest because I definitely do want to be buying this thing when it gets down into the red box. I still feel like we probably could get there, but it's fighting hard, man. The bulls just are not gonna give it up. To be looking at this thing in the short term, though, I do see another closing move shaping up. There's the opening move. There's the closing move. So it's entirely possible that we may not be following the downward narrative with Atom. It's at $22 right now, and just I can't bring myself to buy any of it. It's a little spendy. I don't really want to come out of pocket for Atom for anything above $20, and preferably more close to 15 if I could get it. So if I miss this thing's overall run, then I'm just going to have to miss it. There has to be a line in the sand at which you just kind of don't have faith, and I don't have faith in not seeing a downward correction versus the upward. So I would rather just pass on this and hope for the best on a buyback rather than risk it trying to grab balloons. That's not a winning formula. We don't know. We don't know what this thing is going to do right now. It's outperforming the pack, but that could turn on a dime and close out that move and then turn down. So, not the best use of my money right now, or of yours, in my opinion. So VeChain just keeps raging. VeChain. This is another one that I don't see this one probably going down in a crash. It's just performing too strong that I think this thing is going to continue to go. In a pullback, the most you're going to probably get in a pullback is probably right in this general area right here, which sits right about 10 and a half cents. So this thing is shaping up right now to be doing another move up there. And if we get up into this territory up here, let me move that out of the way. If we get up into this territory up here, a crash would most certainly bring us no lower than this right here. So this one's taken off, guys. You can very clearly see. There's nothing about this that says it wants to go down. Just up and up and up and up and up. Crazy. This is probably one of the more believable ones. I mean, this is, if you're looking at growth, this is the type of growth you want to see. You don't want to see these explosive, jumpy things. Just nice and easy. Make a move, consolidate. Make a move, consolidate. I mean, this is a lovely looking chart, really. I mean, from a believable, sustainable, should I buy it? Maybe. I'm not saying that you should. But, pullbacks are few and far between. Let's just say it that way. So in the here and the now, where would I see a pullback being? If you hit this channel and get into this channel, that might be your last best hope to buy anything that looks like a deal. If we fall into this blue channel, you might want to consider that a buy signal. Now, my son, he got his stimulus check. I mentioned this to a few of you guys. Were kind of mocking me. Well, you're not mocking me anymore. My son was he got his $1,400 stimulus check, and he bought right here. And everybody was like, "Well, that didn't work out too well." Well, time heals all wounds. He's laughing now. So he looked at my charts, and he's quite intelligent. He knew how to ride out a dip. He's like, listen, the upside is far greater than the downside, so he threw down 1,400 on it, and now he's up. Let's see, now he's up 35%. Who's laughing now? And more to come. Yeah. VeChain is in your, I'm not going to call it a top 10. I might call it a top 15. Yeah, let's call it a top 15. VeChain would be, if I were putting together a from scratch portfolio of any amount, I would definitely say VeChain. In my opinion, if I were building a portfolio, would definitely include in my top 15 to top 12 coins, really, would be VeChain. Now, this is not going to be one of these, buy a vacation home, second vacation home. This is one of these that you put your money in and you get more money out. It's kind of like watching your money grow at an exponential. This is kind of like a high-paying bond or a high-paying passive investment type thing. This isn't like a put in $1, get out 1,000. This isn't a theta, is what I'm saying. This is, if you want to protect your money, this is kind of a protector coin. It'll outpace inflation. How's that for? That's probably the best way to put it. So this one's shaping up to take a dump. This one's definitely following the narrative that sooner or later we're going to see this play out. So one of my mods is a fanboy. I don't see him on here. He usually comes into the chat late, but EOS, it just, guys, I'm just not in love with it. I'm just not. It's an also ran coin, and you can see why I'm not in love with it. I mean, we just recently, what has this thing done that's really inspired anywhere? You know, I've been making the calls. The AI lines have moved since then. Where'd my bots are running away from me. I don't know where they're at. See, even my bots don't even want to show. Oh, there they are. Okay. So I'm not really in love with this because it's just not inspiring. I've heard some things about working with it where apparently it's just not a favorite of programmers for whatever reason. You know, rising tide will raise all boats, but you know, do you want to be in the EOS boat? I don't. Now let's talk about the free giveaway. Lordy, 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 you guys are welcome. So we're back testing. It's only going to be a matter of moments. So we're back up to 117% return on the free call that I gave you guys in the Discord. So all you guys had to do is join the unfairadvantage.chat and just listen to what I told you. Make your own personal decision and jump in. You'd be up 117%. And you're about to be up a whole lot more for you guys that are still holding. This thing is bullish, man. It's bullish. It's making... I'm not going to call this a cup and handle. I'm going to call it open and closing move. Let me sketch this out for you. So this is not a cup. It's a saucepan. It's a saucepan and handle. How's that? So, but it's basically it's making a bullish move right now. So you're probably going to end up here probably at about $12.20. Now, I'm going to tell you this for you guys that are new to the stream that have not heard this call. I was calling when I made this call clear back here. Let's go back and revisit history a little bit. Clear back here. I was telling you guys, listen, we're going to $20 to $25. And so you guys that jumped in on this have rode this thing all the way up to 117. And I said, listen, we got some, I think my marks are gone now. But so if I'm right, and the evidence certainly seems to be that I know what I'm talking about, we've made it this far, why wouldn't we go further? If we go to $20 right now, what I'm suggesting to you, I'm not telling you you make your own advice. We always got to be touchy about that sort of thing, so YouTube doesn't say I'm giving advice. I'm not giving advice, but what I will want you to recognize is the fact that I made this call. This is played out. I made several calls actually throughout, telling you guys, "Hey, still time, still time, still time." You know, I'm trying, man. I'm trying to help you guys along the way. Now I'm going to do it one more time. I want you to understand, you guys that are not in this. This is not a long-term hold. This is a get your money and take it off the table and go run, go enjoy your profit. I'm suggesting to you that I do believe that this thing is going to go to $20 to $25 this year. We are sitting at $11 right now. So there is a potential to still do over 100% return on your money. If you're not in, make that decision on your own. I just want you to weigh the facts. If you're not a member of our Discord, I post updates for free. I gave this out as a free, so I continue to update it as a free. So if you guys want to join the unfairadvantage.chat and just watch what happens, I'm going to be charting this thing about every day, day and a half, 2 days. I'll upgrade, you know, what's going on with this, but watch this thing. You watch me be right. All right, so Algorand is another one. So I as I've often said, and I think I'm probably going to move all these four to one line. This one, this one, this one, and this one. I kind of call them the four horsemen. They all tend to kind of move together. Recently, they haven't. So Algorand is... There's something about Algorand. This is just going to move to the bottom of the channel or the top of the channel. So either this is going to play out. We're running right down the middle. We're either going to. It would suggest that we're going to go to the top of the channel, but this channel is not done. This is a very strong channel. We're going to be staying in this for quite a while. Algorand is now starting to be I don't know the true term for it. I call it a prime coin. Prime coin meaning like when you get on these kind of shit secondary exchanges that allow you to buy a coin. Like you always got to buy like the top coins. It used to be XRP. It's always like you got to buy a Bitcoin to buy some lesser coin. Algorand is now finding its way into the prime list of coins that you have to buy to trade for another coin. So that to me suggests there's something about Algorand that the powers that be are starting to find value in this, and it just hasn't had its day yet. So I'm not going to come out quite on record yet and tell you, oh boy, you should get you some of this. But at $1.40, maybe you should get you some of this, because that little piece of information alone suggests to me that nobody wants this thing to go anywhere as far as go away and be useless. If this thing is a prime trader coin on some of these secondary exchanges, this just hasn't had its day yet. And sleepers, wake up running. So XLM is a sleeper right now. It's not necessarily a sleeper. It's just following XRP. I know a lot of you guys are holding this stuff. I did a buy order on it. You know, I'm not gonna call that FOMO. I mean, I'm fine with it, kind of riding. I'm not. It was kind of a better get in now than miss the train. So we had a move. Now here's what I'm telling you by looking at this. That's an opening move. I can easily see that playing out, and I'll be back in black, so I'm not worried about it. Now XLM, I want to get my facts together before I present this. I told you I've got some banker buddies and some high ups and some people that are kind of behind the green curtain that run the world, that are friends of mine. XLM. We haven't talked about this in the show for probably a good 6 months early on in some of my old broadcasts. But what you must realize, XLM is indelibly tied to IBM, if you're not aware of that. IBM is shaping the world with its deep brain, deep blue projects. XLM, a lot of people look at XLM and they think, oh, well, it's just, you know, it's kind of like the silver to XRP's gold. Okay, that's fine. I can believe that. But there's so much more going on with this that has nothing to do with XRP. It is kind of, if you want to view this as the public side of the X twins, then by all means you wouldn't be too far off to think of that. But I want you to also understand, and I'll come back with some information I can share with you. I got to kind of collect my thoughts. I can't just ramble, or I won't be making much coherent sense. There is I've told some of you guys, are my original 40 guys that were on my group. There is a huge IBM tie to the XLM. Always has been. It just hasn't been a very, very publicly acknowledged thing. IBM has got some plans involving agriculture, basically chopping up real estate. This thing's going to have more to do with real estate than you can possibly imagine. So suffice it to say for right now that if I were building a portfolio, it's a liability at this point. Not to me. I'll buy more. Hell no, man. I mean, at this point, I think it's a little overpriced. But if this thing takes a dip and we get down to this right here, son, I will buy all this shit I can possibly buy. Because this thing is going to do better publicly than in the short term than XRP does. I'll come back with a little bit more to fill in the story on that. Quantum. I don't want to spoil the story by giving you bits and pieces. Yeah, that a little bit. This thing is going to be involved in a lot of things that you do, whether you realize it or not. There you go. As I've said, that's domain, words from my father's domain. Where IBM goes, money follows. That's a quote that I was giving about 6 months ago, and it's true. IBM, if you don't understand, and I don't want to get into deep theory with IBM, if you don't understand exactly the IBM's history in the world, in the New World Order, and we're not going to talk about New World Order here tonight, what you must understand is that IBM is a part of the grand narrative that's about to be rolled out to the world. Why do I say that? Well, those of you who do know your history, are you aware that IBM created the computers that helped the Nazis sift and sort the eradication of the Jews? That's a very well-known fact. So we're in round 2. boys and girls. Sleep well. We're in round 2. IBM is deeply, deeply embedded in the things that are going on in this world. So I won't go down the rabbit hole too far with that. But what I will tell you, we can capitalize on it. So you don't need to lose sleep at night about that. But what I will tell you is, as XLM has indelible ties to IBM, IBM is going to be the deep machine that runs society from behind. And so this is going to be a big part of it. So I'll leave it at that for right now. So I'll come back with a little bit more detailed story that I can kind of lay out in layman's terms a little bit. So Watson is a big, big thing. It's AI. It's AI. They don't make that just because they want to win chess games. It's a big thing. So OXT made a little bit of money for you guys, and then she went to sleep. No surprise. This, you guys have heard me. I used to swing trade the hell out of this thing all the time, and it just, this just is not quite performing the way that it should. Let me go back and put that back. This thing should absolutely. You can see it still matches the AI lines. That thing should have absolutely gone straight to that. But it didn't. So they kind of ran it up halfway, and then they took it back away. So they're still playing games with the system. So right now she's asleep. So what does that mean? To me, it doesn't mean anything, because I don't want to own this thing, because it's 80 cents now, and this is basically the granddaddy of shitcoins. This thing it's traded on Coinbase. It's such a small niche that it will never get legs. It will never take off. It will never be something. It's related to internet privacy, but the way that they're approaching it, it's not going to have use case. When all the coins wash out, this is going to be at the top of the flood. It's going to be riding the wave out. So I wouldn't even touch and or swing or own this thing in any way, shape, or form unless it were down in the 40-cent range, and I don't see us getting down that low. So it'll show hope, and then it'll take the hope away and stuff like that. So not one that I'm I watch it because I watch all these, but not that big a deal. So kyber, again, one of the 4 horsemen. She's doing pretty much just like the rest of them. She's riding that channel. So there's going to come a day when this thing is going to wake up and it's going to make a decisive move. But you can see, made a double call, hit it there, hit it there. So both calls were completely hit. So right there, and then we hit it again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. So you can see when these lines are predicted, these moves, you can see they run in deep confluence with there's math that's involved in this grid. So watch these lines. They don't always play out immediately, but they do play out, and oftentimes many times over. So where do I see it's going from here? Down, actually. Very easily down. If the rest of the market's going to take a tumble, I can see us going like that. I don't see, you can see we line up that way. I don't see us going to the top of that. If you want to take that channel and bring it, I don't see us going to the top of that channel because that's too bearish of a move. So I'm going to default to probably believe it's going to go down here. I'm not trading it. It's $3.45 for a coin. I'm not. I'm watching it passively. All of these kind of also ran coins. The price is a little spendy for me for a growth coin. I do believe that all of those will hang tight and be around for a while, but does that mean you should own them? Not necessarily. So our Cardano. Cardano is like the bane of my existence at this point in time. So we've got the move. There's the opening move. So when are we going to see it? I don't know, but I'm telling you, I'm starting to think that we're gonna go down again. We're gonna get that move, and I surely hope not. But in a crashy type situation, we could very easily do that. But for the moment, I'm waiting for some good news. There's a lot of good news that's going to come out. We got the Goguen thing. We've got all this stuff that this thing is doing in Africa. I mean, I'm perfectly fine. Both of these dotted lines are buy-in points for me. So I'm in it both. I went heavy on the top line, and I grabbed a little bit more to DCA in. You know, and it goes down here, what the hell, I'll probably buy more, because in the end, I don't believe for a single second that this is being suppressed. Absolutely being suppressed, because this thing, when this got listed on Coinbase, this thing just went screaming into the toilet. I mean, it just down and down and down. And all these people that have the, if it gets listed on Coinbase, you make money, they had to have been standing there with their mouths open. I watched this thing go down and down and down. I didn't believe it for a single second. And it went down, and it was 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I thought, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and pull the trigger, because I knew it would probably still go down, but I have to live trade these things because I bought it. I was trading on a live trade. I couldn't set a buy price. And to no surprise, it went a little bit lower. So I went ahead and bought in, but I'm comfortable where I'm at right now because I do see this thing going much, much higher. You know, Horseleg, I know he's in on this. You know, a lot of us are in. I mean, it's a good project. This thing is, I don't want to call it an Ethereum killer, but it's definitely going to annoy the hell out of Ethereum that it's out there, because it's going to take market share away from Ethereum, as is Polkadot, and I'm all for it. This versus Polkadot, I'd rather own it at $1.20 than Polkadot at whatever it is, 19, 20 bucks, wherever it is right now. You know, this thing is going to start waking up and coming into its own. If I had to explain what the hell is going on with this thing, many of you guys know that my girlfriend is Kenyan, so I see the African news that comes out. Cardano is huge in Africa. They just signed a contract. They just signed some big thing with Ethiopia, and you may think, well, what do I care about Ethiopia? You should. Ethiopia's got a lot more going on. Ethiopia, you know, you're picturing starving people and people running around in mismatched clothes with AK-47s. Now, that's not what Ethiopia is. You might be surprised how technologically advanced Kenya and Ethiopia are. They're so far ahead of us. Won't get into that tonight, but as I've told you guys on the live stream many times, my girlfriend, she does not carry a wallet. She does not have a bank. She carries a phone, something called M-Pesa, M-P-E-S-A. It's been doing it for nearly 15 years. It's a digital payment. They are now doing, for the last 15 years, what everybody thinks we're going to be doing in America. You just carry your phone, you don't have a wallet, you don't have a bank. They've been doing this stuff for over a decade and a half. So no, they're far ahead of us. So why is Cardano in Africa? Because they're going where the business is. They're going to come back and deal with America in their good time. But by then, they will have gained so much friggin' market share. Let me explain something as long as I'm on kind of a rant with this. So why go to Africa? Well, I just kind of laid out the case for that. Who else is in Africa? China. Oh, boys and girls, China is all over Africa. Holy crap, they're all over Africa. My last girlfriend, before the one that I have, when I went to go visit her, she's like, I can't stand it. There's Chinese everywhere. And I mean, there were. When I was walking around, you could look at any direction and see Chinese people. Why? Because China's in there building their roads, their bridges, their infrastructure. China is investing massively in Africa, because they want to own those resources. And one of those resources is digital. So why is Cardano in Africa? Because China is in Africa. Because Africa is in Africa. Because technology is in Africa. India is a hop, skip, and a jump. Most of the people on our planet are on that side of the world. Why would they ever want to start in America? So these guys, they're crazy like a fox. So by the time these guys get a foothold, people are going to look up and go, Jesus. You know, and they're going to go, well, man, Cardano's just gotten popular. No, it's always been popular. You're just not seeing it. So what I'm telling you is this. $1.20, think very heavily about should you be buying something. I'm not going to give advice, but I'm going to tell you, think very heavily, because the days of $1.20 Cardano are coming to a close sooner than you think. Let me explain something for those of you who do not speak internet very well, Horse-like. When's the last time you got any Russian news on your internet? When's the last time you got any Chinese news? When's the last time you got any news out of Japan in Japanese writing? Isn't that funny? Every time you do a Google search, the world's chopped up and divided. You know, you wouldn't know what was going. I know what's going on in Kenya because I have a Kenyan girlfriend, and so I've identified myself as having ties over there. So Google will feed. So you're in a tiny little internet box of your own making. So I have I don't share this very often, but I am involved in a media company that I own over in Asia. I've had many talks with a motorcycle show that was supposed to happen. You'll find none of that information involving me or a television show on this side of the planet. No matter how hard you look, you won't find it because that's information that's for them, not for you. Google is the gatekeeper of all things. They keep you in your tight little box. So to be able to find out what's going on in Africa, you almost have to put yourself on a VPN and start searching that way. It's the only way you can do it. Yeah, Netflix is pretty much. I really marveled. I bought her a 60-inch TV while I was trapped over there for 5 months, and we bought a television that had Netflix. We were actually able to do Netflix just straight up. So Netflix allows broadcasting in Kenya, but Amazon Prime does not. So I thought that was kind of a pisser. But I watched her 5 months of being trapped in Kenya. I watched about every damn thing there is on Netflix. So I'm tapped out of Netflix for a while, I think. So I'll get to Ankr here shortly. Jay, I got to work my way down this list. Ankr is on this list. It's right here. So I'll get to it. I'm just working my way down. So we got to tell a few stories and cover a few things, but I will get down to it here shortly. Yes, it is. It's fascinating, and for all the wrong reasons. So, all right. So I'll blast through a couple of these. So aave, still holding the line, still wanting to see, and this is very bearish, very bearish. I really want to get down here. So you can see I made a prediction. So we tasted it about 3 times, but we haven't convincingly we banged across it. You know, so we're licking it. We're gonna get the full move here before long. But we've got a very bearish formation here that's suggesting that this thing should go just boom, straight down. Let me dial it in a little bit more here. Actually, I'll just do it in reverse. So from the bottom of that box to here, go up and see if I can find some from that to there. There we go. So there's confluence. Yeah, so not in one move, mind you, but there's an opening move, there's a closing move. So we should very easily, well, then possibly not easily, but within the span of a fairly short amount of time, we should probably be working. And so I want to kind of go back and reiterate that this is indicative of the larger market. You know, this thing had a bit of a pump, so it's got to give back a little harder than the rest of them do. You know, that's only a 16% move. I mean, I'm kind of shocked to see that. That's a 16% move, and that's going to put it at $300. So, you know, I believe if I go back here, I'm going to have to start recharting lower. But I'll tell you what, though, if this is only a 15-16% move right here, I could very easily see this going 30 in a hard crash correction or whatever, and that'll put us down in the 250 range. I will be buying excessive amounts of this because I do see aave going into the 2,000 range, $2,000 to $2,500 range in the next 36 to 48 months. So this is definitely one that's a retirement coin, as I've told many of you bigger players that are on my Discord. So I would be watching for 250 to 275 right in that range. So polkadot, let's see where we're at with that. So I said, yeah, 40. But did I say $25? I wish $25. Did I say 25 earlier? Sorry about that. I got too many of these to keep track of anymore. So, same as always, though. I'm expecting we're following that same trajectory. We're going to see a drop. It's going to shape up right to the bottom of that box. Isn't that funny? Just always right to the bottom of the box again, which is going to put you probably at about 32. Is that the be all say all? Well, let's see what that's a 20. That's 21. Well, it's a 20% drop. I don't consider 20% to be a vicious drop. I consider 35 plus to be a true drop. So that being said, if we want to go ahead and we want to still validate this lower red, from there to the lower red, now you're cooking. That's 30. And we can go back and we can look for confluence. We can find a great amount of it. So yeah, I'm still, if I'm a betting man, and I am, 28.50 just to be conservative. 28.50 could be a very, because we're right in the middle of that red box. 28.50, let's go ahead and do it like that. Right there would be 2 hands, scoop it up as much as you possibly can. I'm waiting for a good buying opportunity. Boy, we're respecting the hell out of that channel. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. All the way back. So when we pick that up, I mean, this is, you're going to know. I like a channel that runs like this because when we break out of it, you're going to know what's up. I mean, if we do the half channel moves, so, we kind of had to do a little teaser out the bottom, but we're back in it. So again, that was a move that was called, and boom, we hit it right there. So that was a right there. So where do we go from there? We pick up the next half channel. So you can very clearly see that we're flagging upwards. So, generally what we always do is with these channels, we look at the bottom, we look at the middle, we look at the top. This is not all one channel. This is a series of moves within a channel. So as I've explained over and over again, I like to always kind of repeat myself for you guys that are new to the channels. If you look at a channel, you go, well, it's going to go bottom to top. Well, sometimes it does, but a lot of times you'll see it'll go and it'll respect the half, and then it'll jiggle around a little bit. But so you really, when you look at a channel, you really got to pay super strong attention to what's going on in the middle of the channel. Are we coming up on that thing convincingly? And evidently, I don't know if you guys who are old schoolers are noticing, we don't have pulse markers. The AI lines have pulled out. We don't have the up-down pulse markers for whatever reason. That's rather interesting. So I'll tell you what that means. It means that the AI lines, which are side to side, and the pulse markers are 2 different separate bots. The AI lines have, how do I want to put this? Okay, so normally when the AI lines are usually the first, it'll look for clock cycles. So the fact that the AI bot has pulled those lines suggests that ZIL has reclocked itself and is not following those lines, meaning that something's about to explode. Something's about to explode. Now, I'm not underselling that at all. When this thing breaks out, it's going to do so on a new timeline that doesn't fall within the pulse markers. And for you guys that are new, let me go back and explain. Pulse markers are these lines that go, let me zoom in here. Pulse markers are these up-down lines that generally go, this is something that's exclusive. You can tell when we're going to get a move up, down, sideways, whatever, through those lines. And these are put in by the AI bots that are exclusive to our site. And normally, and the ones that go left to right, normally those should be there. This is the first time ever in a broadcast that I have seen those things pulled. So that suggests to me that this thing is looking at this and it's kind of scratching its head and it's not finding clock cycles that are predictable. So it's watching, which usually means when it lays down new AI lines, something big is about to pop off. Now with ZIL, let's just look at it with ZIL. I'll give you some gut reaction to that. What do you think is going to happen? Up, 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 up. ZIL's a superstar. What do you think is going to happen? We've been riding a channel. You guys know what I tell you about channels. I don't like channels that go beyond 5 days. We're 16 damn days in this channel. 17 days in this channel. You know what I say about channels. I generally don't look at channels beyond 5 days. We are a super long time in this channel. Something's about to happen here, and by about, I would suggest to you. Let me go back and look here. Sometimes I get a little stream of consciousness when I'm doing this. Sometimes you guys like to listen to me think out loud. You know, you can have channels within a channel. I would suggest to you that we favor a vicious hard up move. If I could go back and find a really hard, there it is right there. Sometimes it's crypto archaeology. That move right there hasn't played out yet. It's not this one. It's not that one. I don't bank on this. I just want to call your attention to it. So when we come out, I have to play the hand that's dealt me here. So if we're playing from the spot that we're at right now, how you like them apples? Now, I'm going to make this a different color just to kind of draw attention to it. This is not a prediction. Do not play on this. I want to call your attention to this because I want to show you, aha, I was right. But I'll encapsulate my thinking here in just a second. But from where we're at, that's a 40.97. Let's just call it a 41% move. Everything about that suggests that's going to happen. Everything about that suggests. Let me show you why I say that. We can find, if we can get all this garbage out of here, let me just do that. We can find a very strong channel, large channel right here that goes back and back and back and back. If we are to find a trend line from here, from the lowest low all the way, it would go all the way. Let me try to ballpark this. It would go all the way from here through here and intersect that. Booyah, just like that. So I'm sketching, so I'm not exactly, but so we have some triangulation here with the move on this. So now, will this happen immediately? No. Will this happen in one fell swoop? Unlikely. But it might be two hard 20s in a row. Might be a 20 and leveling off and a 20 again. But I'm telling you, and just to be conservative, well, I always like to bring these to the lines because the AI lines know all. So let's be conservative and put it there. That still makes it a pretty wicked move of 35%. Don't be surprised if you see that happen. Don't be surprised at all. Zill's not going to follow the trend, I don't think. I think this one's going to be a pump. So Uniswap. So I'm going to be watching that to figure out what the heck's going on, that I'm not getting my AI lines. Because you can see the AI lines show up pretty much on it, and the pulse marker lines always show up. So again, my favorite saying for the week, what do sleepers wake up doing? That is a sleeper. So I want to call your attention to, so I'm going to move, by the way, we just added 1 inch, and I'm going to go ahead, just one time, I'm going to go ahead and cover 1 inch. So I've added Uniswap, Pancake, SushiSwap, 1 inch. These are all basically decentralized exchanges. So moved them all up into one group so they could all kind of be watched. So they all kind of move. One will rise above the others and then it will fall. And then another will rise above the others and then it will fall. Pancake was an example. Pancake was getting no love whatsoever. And it was getting beat down, beat down, beat down. And I told you guys, it's gone. It can't sustain this for long. And all of a sudden, whoosh, it went up 100%. From what I said. So when I see one of these 4 that is not following any form of real direction, it tells me this is on the back burner, and sooner or later they're going to move this to the front. And it's going to get its time in the sun. And when it does, sleepers wake up running. And when it does, if you want to just take the generalized move, you could basically say that's your, I'm not going to call that an opening move, but you could tag that right there and find very just cause for that. If you wanted to follow that all the way across, you could find some historical support for that. But that thing could wake up at any point in time and jump 35%. There's that number again, 35%. Now, it could just as easily drop. But generally, I'm going to speak generally. Generally, you don't see sleepers drop for no reason. They almost do this in a way just to screw with you, to catch you. If you remember either 1 or 2 live streams ago, I told you about, I gave you the grocery store analogy. You know, we've got a can of tomatoes that, you know, no one's buying chicken noodle soup right now. And so we're going to have an end cap sale on chicken noodle soup. So let's call this the chicken noodle soup of crypto. You know, sales are down. We look at our spreadsheets and we see that chicken noodle soup Uniswap isn't selling. We're going to move this to an end cap. We're going to put it on sale. So how do we do that? We attack the bots on this and start pumping the snot out of this thing, and all of a sudden, whoosh, it goes up. And all of a sudden, now trading starts doing what trading does. This is a pump. When it goes like this, and it establishes a new level, and people will do this, and then they slowly lose faith and they drop it down. So they'll push this to an end cap on the store to use that, and so they're not going to drop this out. There's no reason, if you want to look at it this way, there's no reason for them to drop the floor out of a crypto that's not getting any play. Would you agree with me on that? So statistically, and we play statistics here, odds are we got to show interest before we take it away. So you can expect sleepers will wake up running. So if you wanted to, wait for these AI lines to kind of catch up, pick yourself one of these lines, and do not be surprised if we see right in this general area, we see an AI line gets thrown down right about that. There's your bet right there. Wherever that AI line comes in closest, this is just a sketch. I'm not spot on. But if an AI line comes in right there, bet on it. That's about where this thing is just going to go boom. Because, to go back to another analogy, opening move, closing move. Has to happen. It's almost the law. So pancake again. This was a 100% move. And apparently, we ain't done yet. So how would you like to have been in on that call? How many of you are in on that call? For when I told you, literally right here, I really need to mark that to kind of show you, because I don't think this is over with yet. So told y'all, when we got down about $10, this was not going to go on forever, because we just kept going down and down and down, and it was just like it went down and it leveled off, and I said sleepers wake up running. This is about when I started to coin the phrase sleepers wake up running. Well, would you agree? That's a full-on sprint. So now where we are from this call at, we'll call it $10 to where we're at now, 150% return and still climbing. Welcome to the unfair advantage, boys and girls. If you pay attention to the charts, if you subscribe to charts, if you listen to my analogies, if you take to heart what I tell you, you will succeed. End of story. All you got to do is have a little bit of faith, learn the system, and just trade your gut. 150% return. In the span of 20 days, less than a month. Take that to your banker and tell him you need all your money out of your account because you're going to go put it in crypto, because Barron's going to teach me how to make 150% return on my money in 19 days. He'll pass out. No, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just making a joke. So these are, these are the good old days that we're going to talk about when we're old and gray. This is the time to be making the money, to be making the bold moves. Not financial advice, of course, but you can obviously see the credibility that is playing out before you here. So back to this real quick. Always got to kind of pause for a little bit of a catch. You guys are new on the stream, so you guys are watching this and kind of wondering what the hell's going on. How come this guy can always constantly hit the mark? So if you subscribe to our charts at fibbycharts.com, you can get in on some of this stuff. You can get these charts, and this is what the Platinum Group looks like, and we're always adding new. We've got a slot for 3 new ones that we're going to be adding this week. So this right now we're over 61 coins plus gold, silver, platinum, and some popular stocks if you care. We're going to be adding some a few NFTs maybe. I'm really not into NFTs. I kind of view it to be kind of the new electronic scam. Mark my words, it will be. It's electronic beanie babies. That's all it is. But we are going to be doing some DeFi projects. Our guys Bear and Tiger are going to be putting together some DeFi projects, and they're working on that right now. And we want to find those ones back to the earlier discussion. We're trying to find some DeFi projects that you can believe in. Because one of the things is I don't want to bring this stuff to you and say, hey, guys, we think this is going to go, and all of a sudden you buy into it, and you find out it's a scam, and you lost all your money. I mean, it looks bad on our website, it looks bad on me, and I don't want to lead you down the path to ruin. So we're vetting this stuff as best we can before we bring, nothing in crypto is guaranteed. We all know that. But we're going to do our damnedest to make sure that it's something that's believable, that we believe in. And truth be told, we're going to put our money in alongside of yours. So anything we suggest, we're going to take the bath. We're going to take the bath or whatever the positive analogy to that would be with you. I mean, if it goes down, we're going down on the ship with you. If it goes up, we're all going to the moon together. Fair deal? That's the way we look at things. Okay, so back to this. So Pancake is just kicking ass and taking names. It's not done yet. So let me kind of get back to this. So if you want to find a niche to trade in, this is just something off the top of my head. You could almost make this gets to be kind of a rather ungainly list to have to work through. It's all well and good. You got 60 going to be like 100 coins on here pretty soon, but it's a pain in the ass to have to open these things up and see what's moving. So we are making some improvements here. Our mastermind web prodigy Chase is going to be back here pretty soon, and we are going to have at a glance, this is for the platinum, we are going to have at a glance readouts here to tell you, much like when you go to Coinbase and you see like the little up down little 24-hour encapsulation of what's going on, you'll be able to see these at a glance and see which ones are hot performers, which ones are breaking out, which ones are going in the toilet. So this is going to be a really cool thing that when you look at this, it's not only this, but there's going to be much more deeper information at a glance. I'm a very at a glance person, so it works I'm doing it for me. You guys just happen to get the advantage of that. But we're going to be adding more coins and stuff like that. So the point I was going to make is it gets really hard. I mean, do you want to trade money coins? Money coins being an XLM, an XRP, bancor coins, a bancor. You could trade certain segments. Do you want to do DeFi swaps? So you could look at these four right here and simply make money off of these four here. Look for the one that's getting beat down the most. Buy it, because not advice, but this is the way that I would do this. If I wanted to go no further than these four, I would look at the most beat down one of these, Pancake being an example, say, okay, the other three are doing really well. All right, so maybe I need to be looking at Pancake. So I buy Pancake, and all of a sudden she takes off to the moon. Well, that wasn't a bad play, was it? We're up 150% and climbing. So if you were to look at the one that's probably getting its butt handed to it the most, probably consider that to be, look at the news to make sure that there's nothing inherently wrong with it. Buy that one. It'll get caught in the updraft behind everything, because it's just not its turn to get the pump. Because the pump just basically, the powers that be go, okay, today it's sushi swap, up. Okay, today it's 1 inch. Now recently it was 1 inch. I was hearing 1 inch all over the damn place. So I can tell you that we might be exiting the point where the pump is good. So let's go ahead and take a look at this since I'm on this topic. We had a really good run up there. So what's going to happen with this? Let me go ahead and scale this back. So judging by what I just told you, would you believe what I just told you? We've had, this is not a sleeper. Not by any means. If there was any sleeping going on, it was right here. We had a little bit of a whatever happened there. I wouldn't classically define that as a sleeper, but you could say that there's some pretty stable activity. And all of a sudden, one moment, she woke up. How much did she wake up? She woke up 47%. I would define that as a sleeper waking up running. So, should you buy 1 inch right now? Nope. Compared to the other group, nope. Now, should you buy 1 inch? Maybe yes, but of the four, See, I'm seeing a bullish formation here, but the point I'm trying to make here is I'm trying to say, let's look at sushi. Hey guys, let's look at sushi. The point that I'm making here is these things move in tandem. One gets beat down, the other three rise. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Watch sushi. I'm not going to suggest anything to you, but I am going to tell you, watch sushi. If this thing breaks out of this channel to the positive, get ready, because it's about ready to do exactly what Pancake did. Yeah, these AI lines are really super tight. That's another indicator that something's about ready to break out. When these things are packing tight like this, I mean, you know, look how far I got to spread these things out. I mean, that's super, super tight. You know, Tiger mentioned this. He noticed anytime these things are running tight like this, is usually it's another indicator. Let me show you another one here to kind of go old school with this. So let's look at the Bollinger Band. So the Bollinger Band, to explain to you guys, I always have to kind of go back and reteach this stuff. A Bollinger Band, let's find another example of that. Something that might be a little bit better to explain off of. Let's go with this here. Yeah. Okay, so Bollinger Band is that ghosted green bubble back there. Anytime it goes super tight like this, the tighter it goes, the more likely it's going to do an explosive growth. And you can see it squeeze, 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 and then boom. See how it flared up, and then it squeezed together, and it went back flat again. So you look for those Bollinger squeezes, along with some other things like the alligator and stuff, which we won't get into right now. So sushi has been squeezed for a good long time. So wouldn't you concede that we're ready for something new to happen? Wouldn't you agree? That's a big, look at that. We haven't had squeeze, 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 squeeze. It hasn't been out of that for a very, very long time. So we're due. So this is making a very strong case for the idea that something's about to pop off. Would you not agree with that? And we're riding along the 20 or the 200 EMA. We can go plus minus. We have, I kind of view this as like a permission to move line. If you want to look at it that way, I have funny ways of looking at things. Anytime we're hugging this line, we have the coming together of a lot of things that would suggest this thing's about ready to just take off. Because I generally don't like anytime a move strays more than 15% away from the AI or from the 200, like this right here. Look at that. We snap right back, and then we do that. We just keep coming back to it again and again and again. So we never stray very far from the 200 before we come back, and we stray, and then we come back, and then we stray. So look at that. So we get crazy, but we always find our way back home. So here we are, right at 0 point. So if we want to go, and again, you can go 30, 35% like that. No problem. And that's a move that we have agreed upon is considered a sleeper waking up running. So if we wanted to do that, let's kind of play with some theories here. We're right at the 200 EMA. So let's just go 35% just to pull that number. From about here, let's go 30, just keep it on screen. Well, actually, I can't go 35 here. Hold on, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's do it this way. I like it this much way better. Okay, so let me show you. Let's make an even deeper case for this. Okay, so from here, let's go up about 30. Let's go about 30%. So look where the resistance box hits. If we take that box across there, and we say, okay, we have some historical support and resistance right there. So now we have a narrative starting to play out. We've got a downward trajectory that cannot be maintained when all the others in the market are going up. Sushi doesn't have any bad news. It's just not getting any love. So it's just not sushi's turn in line. That this too shall pass. Now, does that mean we might go down to the bottom of the channel? Probably. But overall, we're not trying to catch the bottom of the market. We're trying to catch the trend. So the trend would suggest that we're going down, but we're going to reverse. So now my AIs come in, my bots come in, so we're packed really super tight. This tight orange band here suggests that something has to break pretty soon. The tight Bollinger Bands suggest something has to break pretty soon. The downward trajectory suggests, much like it did with pancakes, something has to break up pretty soon. So now we've got this. Now we've got historical support and resistance right here. So now we can bring all of those pieces of the puzzle together. I'll rejoin OMG one more time, by the way, Zach. I'll take a look at that. So now let's take this and let's go 30%, 32%. Booyah, right there. That is money. Book it. It's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen. Might not happen immediately, but I'm telling you right now, my money is on this exact bet. When I get off live stream, I'm going to be buying in on this. That's how strongly I feel about this. So so let's go. I'll watch for a little bit more of a dip. I want to kiss that dotted line in the middle. So let's say like right about, I want to buy in at about 1450, let's say. So I want to buy in at about 1450. And, you know, I'm not saying this is the point where you want to sell, but I'm telling you, get ready for a 30% pump, because this might just be the start of something further up, because we do have a history of going much higher than this. So this could be the start of future good things. So sushi is now on my watch list. So take that as you will, but when I get off live stream, I'm going to be making a buy order. All right. So 1 inch back to 1 inch. No, this is not one that I want to own, because the move just happened. Now, when this becomes the most hated of the four, or the most overlooked or abused of the four, I'll buy it, and that might be at a higher level. But you don't buy something after a pump. That's dumb. So the time to buy was right here. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see, pancake, sushi swap, 1 inch. Yeah, so we've already looked at that. So let's go back and take a look at OMG here real quick. So sounds like we've got some news. Yeah, it's getting ready to go. It's getting ready to go. So we've got the alligators, so you guys understand how this stuff works. So we hit an AI line right here. We've been up trajectory since the AI line. So we are rolling green. We are blue above red. We might be cooling off a little bit here. So our RSI is starting to give back. We're rolling potentially red. Blue is starting to go. So I would say we're probably at a settle point. So Zach, I wouldn't exactly look at that as a bullish thing right now. So as you can see right here, blue is still above red, but not by much. We potentially might be rolling red now at this point. We are definitely going down on the RSI, so none of that's good. Our alligators are starting to come together, which we don't like that. And for whatever reason, oh, my Bollinger Band, okay. The Bollinger Bands are spreading a little bit, but they're starting to get a coming together look to them. So I would say probably the move is not going to be very vicious if it goes up. So we're probably at a stalling point with it. Now, does that mean we're done going up? No, not at all. Not at all. This is still very much a very bullish move, as you can quite clearly see. So we're basically in this next channel down. So if we want to move this channel down here, let's go ahead and do that. Let's just move this hypothetical channel down here. Find a place where we like it, like we're at there. Yep. So by using that basically makes this now the half channel, makes us interact with the half channel. So let's watch that, see how that plays out. I would not be surprised to see this probably potentially come back down and kiss this line right here, just because we have a lot of support on that. So that very well might be a touch-off point before it does something like that. And that for you guys is $2.60, or I'm sorry, $2. I wish $10.60. So I'm not going to cover these because those are all part of platinum. So flamingo looking real good. So flamingo is just really just respecting the hell out of that red trend line. That really should be a green trend line, actually. Looking like we're about ready to kind of come up to this line right here. So from there to there, we should be back above that trend line. You know, we're not that far away from the 200 EMA, so we got room to run there a little bit. So that's 22%. So that's like I said, 15% is permissible, but it doesn't stay that way for long. So either the EMA has to come up, but you can see we have done it before. It does do it, but it always comes back. See, like there, we're 24%, but you can see we snap back to it when we went under, and then it seems like anytime you pull the rubber band, it snaps, and then it finds equilibrium around it eventually. So it snaps one way and then gyrates the other way, back the direction, then back up. So we could do that. We could go up to this line here, but the overall is we're trending quite nicely up. If you wanted to channel that, I mean, you could call that a really long channel overall up that direction. So I'm going to skip all these here. So reef is just still torturing all of us diehard wannabes here. This is starting to feel like a sleeper, and this notwithstanding, this is starting to feel like a sleeper that's going to take off like a bat out of hell. And I say that because we have an opening move right here. Well, we have an opening and closing move here, but we've got a lot of flat land here, and it's just not making it convincing. Every time I look at this, I mean, this is a somewhat believable downward trend, which should take us easily right there. I'll say that for now, but I don't believe it. In my heart of hearts, I don't really believe it because it just doesn't seem to want to. I mean, it's running right along this plus yellow box. It just will not give it up, and we've tasted it a couple of times, but we just can't get in it and hold ground, hold lower ground. So that's telling me right there, there's something definitely. Every time we get into this area here, there's a buying frenzy that drives it back up again. So there's a lot of people that are trying to hold the line on this. So we need a market-wide panic to drive this down to my blue line right here. And we can still do it, keep hope alive, but we need a 35% drop, which again, we've been 20%, we've been close as 20%, but here we are still 30% away. It could still happen, but will we get down into the green box? That remains to be seen, but I do believe that if we get down here, we will spend no amount of time in this green box. So if you can put an order in for what the hell, then do, because you're not going to be able to just lounge around and get it at your own good time, because I don't think it's going to spend very much time there. It'll be back up into the yellow box and beyond in short order once it drops down in like that. So this is another one of these. I wouldn't call this a channel. I wouldn't call this sleeping. It's just kind of doing its own thing. It's not really doing an up, not really doing a down. I can't really make a call on this because it's not following any conventional trending. I can only give like short term. So I would expect it'll ping pong off the top. It'll bounce off the top of the yellow box yet again. Got to revise that yellow box. But it'll bounce off the top of that. Where it goes from there, we'll just have to chart it and see. But I mean, it has a very strong support and resistance history at that yellow box. So we have to get into and convincingly out of this yellow box to even believe that this is going to be a buy. Nor do I believe it's going to skyrocket up, because there's nothing about that's really suggesting that either. So RSR is just really at a meh point. So I'm going to jump down here to anchor real quick. I will go back and hit hashgraph here, but anchor, you got me. So here again, there's the tight lines. There's the tight lines. So if I could put, my Bollinger Bands don't seem to be very bright here. I need to darken my Bollinger Bands up a little bit here. Now I can see what's going on. I try not to make those too dark because I don't want to crap up my charts, but you got to be able to see them. So, all right. Okay, well, I was just getting ready to say, this is a bullish move. I think we're just about ready to see a bullish move play out right here. Yeah, we are. This thing's going to take off right now. So from here to here, I think we're literally just about to see this take off right there. So alligators rolling positive. We've had a lot of red. Yep, that's about to happen. So, well, I caught that one just in time, didn't I? So there's your answer to ankr. And can you believe it? You bet you can. There's a trend line running right there. Right there. Point, 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 point. There's a trend line. There's a point. There's a point. I'll go ahead and give it to you. Right there. Can you believe in that? You bet you can. So, get it, get it, get it. 9%. 9% meat left on the bone there. Hey, better late than ever. Better late than ever. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be a straight shot. It'll be something like this probably or whatever. But let's. By the way, the trend line here is purple. I got to get my shit together here and get all my color code and all figured out there. All right, so there we go. So we're just coming off. So can we make this move? You betcha, you betcha. Because right now we're just coming off of what I call the permission line. Looking good on ankr. You bet, you bet. Yeah. So we've got a bunch of higher historical. You know, can we go up? Oh, damn right we can. Damn right we can. Let me close that in here. So let me look forward on that. Now, let me do you, I'm going to call you Jay. Jay, are you a subscriber to our charts? There's a little bit of a chat delay, so I got to wait for your answer. Are you a subscriber to our charts? Wish it was okay. I'm going to do you a favor here. I'm going to stick in a channel, and I want you to watch this channel. I want all you guys to watch this channel. And that channel be right there. Okay, so basically that's the channel. So watch that very, very closely. So I'm going to leave that in there. So if we break out of that channel, if they pull some funny business and take that away from you and drop out of this channel, then you should be heavily considering not being an ankr, because this, generally speaking, this overall formation, see, we can look at the micro, but we can look at the macro. The overall formation, let me get the pin out. The overall formation is one that suggests down. The micro suggests up. So play this as a short-term play. This is not a, we're going to the moon. You know, we're leaving the atmosphere for a while, but we're not. So the broader narrative here, I want you to understand, is an opening move that has not played out. Okay? So not to put too fine a point on that, but within that could very easily be that right back down to there. And there's a case to be made for this. I didn't put this box there because I like yellow boxes. It's there for a reason. So be watching for that. So I'll pull this up so you guys can see that really close here. Well, we're looking good in the short time. Anyway, okay. All right, so there's that. So you can watch that in the charts. Hash graph. Hash graph is basically in the next one over. Actually, even out of that a little bit, kind of wicked out and then it's back down in. Not feeling that one for going up. I think we could probably easily say that we'll be back down to the screen down here. I would say we'll probably be visiting this general area with hashgraph. And from that, this right here is very believable, very, very believable, because we've got to move right there, and that needs to play out, and it will play out. And there it is, 1, 2, 3, from that AI line to this AI line. So there's 1, 2, 3 predictions. So you can pretty much expect that eventually this is gonna. It might be over here, but you can pretty much expect that that thing's gonna play out. You're gonna see hashgraph fall. She's going to go straight down to 25. Let's make that 2.255. Now from there, is that a good buy point? Yeah, it kind of is, because you got, there's your big opening, there's your big close. You can look at these, the way you can kind of look at this, you know, we have like a little opening, a little closing, maybe a broader one around that. So I always like to kind of go back and see how the narratives look like that. So there's your big, massive one right there. But the thing is we've got confluence right there. So that puts it right here. So that's a very believable quote unquote bottom for that. So if you wanted to pick up hashgraph before the next run up, I would not fault you for doing it at 0.255. I know you've never heard this before, but not financial advice. But I will do this. I will go so far as to suggest it's possible, because I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't want to be pegged as one. So. OX is one that I brought to y'all's attention way back here. And you know, I'm kind of good at this. 70.85%. So now we're at 70.85%, and we're not done yet. Now this one's going to take a while to play out. This is not going to be a moonshot. This is going to probably, yeah, I'm probably going to calm down a little bit there. That should be, from where we're at, should still be a solid 13-14% from there. Now this is a Coinbase coin, of course, but this one, sleepers, wake up. So again, this is I believe, we moved a little bit. They moved my arrow. And trading view. So I was right at the base of that, and they moved my arrow. Okay, there we go. So putting it back on that AI line. So this is what I'm going to say is, if I can straighten that back up here a little bit. There we go. So I'll be general about this. So floating a call like this out here, this is the point that I want to make. So these sleeper calls that I make that are just out of nowhere, that's a sleeper call. You can't deny that's the same move. when these calls are made, you just have to show a little bit of patience. But I mean, can you find this? This is what I was telling you on that earlier one. You know, with I believe it was Sushi Swap. You know, watch that arrow, because when it wakes up, it's going to wake up. So we went. How many days did we go before we finally hit that? 8 days, 7.5 days. So this call, you had 7.5 days to get your portfolio ready for this move. This was an upward move. I read the tea leaves, the magic chicken bones. I rubbed them together, and this is what it told me. And so when I make these calls, they float out there. But, oh, you totally missed that. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And I'll give you one more. If we flash wick, do not be surprised. I have a double down call. If we flash wick down, we could easily do this, but if we get a panic flash wick down, don't be surprised that it flash wicks down to these lines here. These things are based upon science and upon triangulation and stuff like that. These are not random calls of some dude on the internet that thinks he knows what he's talking about. There's a lot of math and science that goes into this, and a lot of little woo-woo stuff that I don't get into, but for the most part, basically, it's very, very definable, very provable, and very, very repeatable. So, but so there's your play of the day. So your next one is going to be this one right here. So now, whether this plays, if this goes sideways, which I don't think that it will, because we're looking at alligator up, rolling green, looking good. We're still somewhat believable there. So we might go halfway, think about it, but eventually we'll get there within the week. We'll get there. Now this is a $2.30 coin. Not a bad price, you know, for something that has some upshot to it. And it's a coin-based coin, so you know, you would have been better served buying it at an earlier point in time, but still there's a lot of meat left on the bone here. So you know how much I love these damn things. They're fun to have once in a while, but they're not really good. And again, you notice how that hits right on my AI line. These Fibonacci lines, they're, as I've said many times, you got to know how to use them. If you don't know how to use them, if you don't know how to make them, they're just pretty circles. I've got my own way of using them. I can literally make any random one I want and make it work, but you have to understand the math behind it. If you do this and you take it and you go back and you find confluence somewhere and you can backward trace it, you can make it fit the narrative. So, as I'm doing right here. So I'm matching it there, matches there, matches there, matches there, there, there. So, but it serves no point. You know, there's people out there that are kind of living and dying by that and saying they have a system they figured out. You cannot figure out a move without that. So again, with ZRX, obviously something explosive is about to happen, because you'll notice the absence of my up-down lines. My AI lines are here, but my pulse markers are not. So my bots are obviously sensing that something big is supposed to happen market-wide. So it's exciting. So get yourself positioned accordingly, guys, because something big is about to happen, I have a feeling. So there's the opening move. There's the closing move. Now we're leveling off. So that should take us to right there. So here's, again, once in a while, this is why this is yellow, is because I just wasn't sure, but there's the move. Should have gone, but I just wasn't feeling it, because there just was something really weird about the way that that was laying out, because we were on a very bullish trajectory, but we just didn't dump. So, but you can go back and you can see that pretty much if you were to move this, we just pretty much just moved into a different channel is all we did. We didn't dump necessarily. So now we're about ready to go back up. So it wouldn't surprise me if we basically just kind of go back to the top of that first, and then we'll have to convincingly find our way out of that. But again, we'll be back into this channel. So we got to work our way out of this channel before we work our way back into the next one. But that's the broader move suggested here is one of basically getting back up there to that. That's a 8.5%. Now, loopring, I've said before, I brought loopring to you guys way back. Loopring has not. We're just rolling, much like what is it, hashgraph. We're just rolling up and down. Loopring has not become a breakout superstar or a featured can of chicken noodle soup on the end cap of the supermarket yet. But when it happens, let me tell you what, you're going to see a pretty violent move out of this thing. So is it worth owning Loopring at 57 cents? Well, I've been telling you this ever since we were back down here. You know, it would have been smarter for you to be in here at 48 cents, but, you know, a couple pennies here, a couple pennies there. Loopring will have its day. And when it does, this level is no longer going to be part of the discussion. So we have gone higher. They've gone much higher. So let me kind of give you my 3 cents worth here. Is this a bad investment to buy at 57 cents? In the here and the now, while we're in this channel, if we get to the top of this channel and reject one more time, I would probably consider buying it because it's just about ready to, it's still working side to side here. It's operating in this channel, this imaginary channel right here. It's trending up, but it's trending up within another channel, a channel within a channel. When this thing goes up, it could pump hard, 30-35%, and then some. But I can tell you that Loopring, when it gets its day in the sun, will wake up running just like they all do. So that's not a bad price to be buying something, a Coinbase coin. Yeah, easy to get into, easy to get out of. That's short-term money, by the way. There's nothing retirement about Loopring, insofar as I'm concerned. Kava is a different situation. Kava was a $5 coin back when I was talking about it. We were down here. I said, hey, I kind of like this. We hit this box, and I said, I kind of really like Kava. And then from that point, you know, I got to stop saying this and not being more forceful about it. But, you know, if you hear me say I like something, you probably should be listening. So at this point, I brought Kava to you guys kind of actually back here. You know, we had jumped up. I did an in-stream call. We made a little bit of money on that. We leveled out. We dropped down. Made another call where I said, hey, you know, I think we're gonna fall to this point. Sure enough, we did. We fell into this point. I said, at this box, this was a buy for me in the green, and I did scoop up a little bit of Kava. I forgot about that. I do have some of it. I have about 20,000 of them. I don't have a whole lot, but this thing's going great guns. Now, do I see this thing dropping and fulfilling this prophecy? No, not anymore, because that's a yellow. That should have played out, but it didn't. But you can see how perfectly it would have if they weren't messing. So they don't want this falling. So this is off the table. Now we have to go back and look at an earlier prediction, which is this right here. So where do I see this going? Watch this. You're going to be amazed. So here to here is a move now that shows is possible. If we make that move from where we are right now, I'll be damned. Fascinating, isn't it? If you're impressed, please tell me you're impressed. This is as close to magic as you get. So Kava, should you be buying Kava? Yeah, you should be buying Kava. In my opinion, it really unnerves me to have to constantly say that all the time. Should you be buying Kava? Yes. I see Kava going to $20 to $25 this year. So again, you can see this one, that one hits. It's just a matter of time. You just got to wait these things out. Sooner or later, they play out. You take new markers and old markers, and you put them together, and you know when an old one matches a new one, you know you got a winner. So this is about to play out. So someone was asking me about graph, so we'll jump ahead on graph. I got out of graph because of my teeth situation. I was in here and I went ahead. I don't have time to be pissing around waiting for this thing to go. So I liquidated. I took my money out because I needed a little cash. I got $11,000 dental bill I got to pay, so I need some money. So I yanked that off the table. Now, does that mean this is a bad own? Certainly not. Certainly not. Graph is going to have its day, just not today. So now I'm going to call that a yellow move. I'm not going to come right out and say I'm bullish on that because I'm not. But we will see a time in the not too distant future where Graph will kiss those lines, and I'll show you. We've got some really good trend lines suggesting the correctness of that. So, and you can see that I have some past kind of pseudo calls here that I'm like kind of, when I do these gray ones, they're really more notes to self. I'm expecting a move up here. So, but that I would kind of call it about a 60% likelihood to play out. Should you be buying Graph at $1.73 compared to where it's going to go in the future? Yeah. Are we looking at a downturn? You got to be aware of the downside once in a while. I mean, if this week is going to be kind of a nasty week, that same move could play out, but we're floating out in the middle of nowhere. However, I want you to call your attention to this. There is, if we capitulate and fall to this floating middle of nowhere with no proof or reason why, we actually are straight in alignment with that. So we have a 50-50 case to be made for we could fall that far or we could raise that far. So if you're a Graph fan, you want to buy some Graph, you're not so sure whether you make money, your better play would probably be to maybe get a buy-in at, let me go ahead and give you one of these here. This is a Coinbase coin, so you can do that. Get a buy set for, let's be a little conservative, make sure we get the spot. $1.36. Put it in a $1.36 is about where I'm sorry, these things are just so freaking touchy. That's supposed to be a $1.36. Put it in a $1.36, or if you really want to be ultra conservative, just put it in at $1.40 maybe. You definitely would get it bought at $1.40, at $1.40, and then ride the ride, because you've got plenty of upside historical proof that this thing has done the deed up here at a higher level, and it'll do it again. You know, Graph has got some good solid work behind it. It's a good project. It should do well. So if you can buy it at $1.40, then do. That would be my opinion. This is a bit of a speculation in the here and the now, especially this week. So speaking of speculation, let's look at the king of speculation here. Every time I like to always look at this dry because I like to shake my head. So my AI lines moved a little bit. It hit the AI line. So the old AI line call was right here. So it hit the new AI line. So this I don't upgrade these things. I did that on the last broadcast. So it did come up to where the AI line was, but you know, I'm sorry guys. I'm not riding this ride for any amount of anything, because I'm just waiting for this thing just to turn tail and just dive straight into the red here. So you know, there's so-called psychics that are saying that this should go up or whatever. God bless them. But I don't. I'm not a believer in this project. When I see this amount of manipulation, that's nowhere I want my money. Anything that did moves like this, I'm not going to be lucky enough to be on the front side of a positive move like that. We've had too many of them. I mean, up, 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 and no down. Give me a break. So if you're in, hold it. You know, I'm sure it'll go higher, but I wouldn't be a new player in that. Definitely not. Now, BitTorrent was, again, one of those I'd say, hey guys, get in on it. Up she went. Now, what goes up hard comes down eventually. So a lot of you guys that are on stream, you know my thoughts on this is you know, this thing's got name brand recognition. So we had for whatever reason, we had a really nice pump on this thing, and you know, this is pretty much bots pumping it up, and this is people losing faith and selling it off. And this is probably a, you know, market cycle indicator, whatever, where it's maybe, you know, it's starting to level out again. So the new narrative has not started for BitTorrent yet. Now, do I see it going lower? Because of the fact that this thing is all over the place, and because of the fact that we're looking at a week where I do believe we are going to see some chaos in the market by the 15th, I believe it's this. There's a strong case that will probably be down in the 0.004, 0.005 range, which, by the way, is this box right here. So that very wide box right there is probably where I see us falling to. I'll go ahead and make that red because it's pretty much basically what it should be. So into that box is about where I would expect us to drop. And that's a fairly substantial drop. It is 30%, but again, small cap stuff falls faster and more violently, so 30 to 35%, totally believable. But I wouldn't be looking at in the box. I would be looking at the top of the box. Don't ever look at, if you just want to get this thing bought, don't hold out for the bottom of the box. Look, contact with the box is proof enough that target has been acquired. So don't split hairs. Now, where does it go from here? Oh, definitely up. I don't believe that BitTorrent is going to go away. I think that this thing has got name brand recognition, and I've always said that since introducing it to the charts. So will it be a $10, $20 coin? Probably not. Where do I see it getting? I really don't. I don't know, but certainly above where we're at right now, 0.0088. I mean, come on. I don't know very much about how this thing is structured, but I do know that I believe very heavily in the concept of name brand recognition. There's people that trade on Bitcoin that download files and stuff like that, and that's what this is. It's tied to that. So by name brand recognition alone, it gets a little bit of a leeway for having legs. So I can easily see this thing probably getting upwards of 25, 30 cents in the not too distant future. Where do I see it by the end of the year? Difficult to say, but let's make the assumption that the rest of the market is the backside of the market. Let's say the end of summer is really doing phenomenal. I would probably put you at maybe a penny or two. Wouldn't be too unheard of. Definitely getting up there. Things that are in the penny range don't stay in a penny. Do I see this thing getting to $1? That's a pretty tall order right now. I'd have to see a lot of use cases for it to even believe. But would it hurt you to grab yourself a bag for fractions of a penny right now? For the likelihood. I'm not saying, bet the farm on this, certainly, because that would be a stupid move. But would it hurt you to entertain the idea of a pullback of 30% back to on in or around this red box to maybe buy yourself some pocket change worth of this and maybe turn it into 100x in the far future or whatever, who knows. But I think the upside is a lot better than the downside, especially if we get down to the red box. So Energy Web, I'm not spending a lot of time on Energy Web because I believe, swing and a miss, we're so close. So let's spike it. We're not quite there yet, but we're going to get there. So I've got two calls at that same height, so you can believe that there's some validity to that. On our next move, we're probably going to make it. This being a $17.33 coin. This is basically going to be the tokenized way you power your house, effectively, is the way that I understand this. So will this thing have validity in the future? This thing is highly, highly tied to the electrical grid and all the things that go on with that. So, I mean, if anybody thinks we're not going to have electricity in the future, you obviously are not paying attention to the way society works. So does this thing have validity? Does this thing have potential up point? Yeah, it certainly does. Just for whatever reason, I'm not magnetically attracted. This is just my intuition. I'm just not magnetically attracted to this thing thinking, oh my God, I should be owning this. I never have been. I put it on here because I do see use for it. And again, here's those very tight bands again. Something's about to happen. So do I see anything popping off right away? Not yet. Not yet. Let's darken that up, see what's going on with that. So that move's got to play out at some point in time. And I suspect probably what's going to happen is that move is going to complete this, and it's probably going to bring it in conjunction with that right there. So we probably will see an upward move of about 15%. Now that's worth getting out of bed for. You might want to consider, if you're an energy web fan, you might all the things that I just told you, you might want to be, if you want to play I won't call it a risky play, I'll call it a Hail Mary play, short term. The way that I would look at this is, would you be pissed if you got stuck with a $17 coin and the price went down temporarily? Well, as I just stated, it's not going to stay down forever. I'm holding Cardano below what I paid for it, so I'm in the same boat. I'm preaching what I'm practicing. So, but if you wanted to make a short-term possible kill, Pablo, I'm talking to you on this. If you wanted to maybe roll the dice on a somewhat fairly possible short-term deal, you could probably play that play for 15%. Make your own decision on that, of course. But if I was getting bored and looking for something that might possibly work out for me in this market, and by this had better play out in the next 2-3 days, or otherwise I don't think it's going to play out short-term. But you stand to make anywhere from probably 15 to 16% gross on that. Now, Tron was an amazing call. I brought it, called it right there. That bad boy just rocked the house. So that thing went 128% from when I called it. 128% in 6 days. Less than a week. 128%. And you'll notice that was a double green. There was no indecision about that whatsoever. And I made another call to you guys. Said, hey, party's not over. Now, and I made another call. Okay, well, I am not getting off that. If we've done all this, don't think for a single second we're not going to hit here eventually. So if you bought in here, you probably could have wrote it up and sold off there. The AI line's retraced because there was an AI line right there. But by no means does this mean that this is a lost call. This thing is going to turn, and when it does come back into favor, it's going to do this and more. So for right now, where are we at with this? We're kind of we're riding this channel right now, very convincingly riding this channel. So this is an accumulation phase. This is a time that if you want to ride Tron, I don't see this thing tanking and dropping hard anytime soon. However, if we do, we're going to be doing it by that much. We're going to be falling right there. And that, in fact, is going to be right in confluence with the biggest support and resistance right there. So this is the worst that it can get for Tron right here, as far as I'm concerned. That's a 20% move. Now, if it does fall to this, guys, I would tell you that I really so badly want to give you advice, but I'm not going to give you advice. Understand how I'm saying this, what I'm saying, with the way that the gist that I'm getting to. Me personally, I'm jumping on this like a horse that's running out of town. I want to own this at basically 9.5 cents, big time, because this thing has been around for a very long time. I've said this before in a past live stream. This thing has been around for a very long time and has just been the Rodney Dangerfield of crypto. It has gotten no respect. Look at this. How long? Think about Tron. How long some of you guys have been in crypto? How long has Tron just been there in the background doing nothing? Now, just look at that. I can just keep on doing it. It's just not done anything. So now that you've looked at this, now that you've seen it started to wake up, and it still continues, but now I hit my call, and by no time, I was charting back here, but I wasn't getting all bullish. But when I did, I said, hey guys, today's the day. So, when I speak, listen. So I'm telling you right now, this is as good as it's ever going to get for a price. When this thing falls, jump on it, is my thought. Because when this thing starts to go, we've had no form of motion or no form of past historical support that looks anything like this within the history of Tron, other than possibly what, during IPO. So this thing is now on the good list. It's made somebody's nice list. It's been on the naughty list or the whatever list, but it's now on the most favored status because somebody has woke up and taken notice of this, and they're going to start trading accordingly, and they're going to start positioning accordingly and rotating accordingly. So it might be the fact that this thing got listed on some new exchanges. It might be some new news came out. It might be some new adoption. It might be, I don't know, whatever. The head guy got a new haircut and everybody likes it. I don't know, whatever. But whatever it is, this thing now has clearly established a new paradigm. And so it still has to follow TA. If we get a crappy week, we get a downturn to 10 cents, scoop this thing up with 2 shovels. And hold it, and because I can easily see this thing going far, far above where it's at right now. It's already showing examples of that. If we've done this in this short amount of time, then we're, the best is yet to come. Okay. Same goes with Steam. I brought Steam to the party and started charting it right here. When I introduce these things, take me seriously, because I don't. You've seen how many of these in a row now? Some of you new guys that are new to my charts, how many of these in a row have you seen me start talking about them and all of a sudden they take off? Now you can understand why I say the psychics all of a sudden decide that they see that Spirit's telling them bullshit. Spirit isn't telling them anything. What's telling them? If you want any form of mysticism that's telling them anything, they're getting their calls from the magic chicken bones, and the magic chicken bones are right here at fibbicharts.com. So Steam is woke up, and it's going to start going. It's going to start taking off. So at $1.32 now, is this thing going to turn back down? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. So I think this thing is poised to, if I'll tell you this way, or I'll give it to you this way. If we come convincingly up into this channel, and we smack this half line, which I think there's every bit of case that we probably will. Hang on, I want to say that and unsay that. I got to get a deeper look. All right, so if we could hold some ground right here in this general area, and we come up into this, and we make it to the halfway point on this, then that's a very bullish signal, because we're not going to. I'm not going to call this a cup and handle, because it's just too sloppy to be a cup and handle. It's not an Adam and Eve or anything. It's not anything. But overall, you can see if we are to put a larger, let's go ahead and expand this a little bit. I'll show you a little bit different way of looking at it. There's always more than one way to look at these things, so it pays to kind of expand your horizons a little bit. So if and I were to take this and just expand it down to there, so that now makes that a half channel, and then we're to bring that like that. More so, if we get above that orange line right there, I'm not going to leave this on here. If we get above that orange line and we get convincingly up to this dotted line here, you can best believe that this thing is about ready to go crazy. Because this thing is already done, 65%. We've tapped it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6 times. We've hit all-time highs 6 times. So we are convincingly past the point of no return on this. And so once we get up here into this area, which will be new ground, by the way, blue sky from there. So once we basically get past, I'll just go ahead and give you a little tighter look at this. When we pierce this line and we get into this channel at all, 3 candles, hold it, buy it. That's the way I'm looking at it. Buy it. When we're 3 candles convincingly into 3 closed candles convincingly into this, which we're not there yet, we might do one of these a little bit, but when we get there, if once we're 1, 2, 3 candles convincingly in there, that's the time to buy and get ready for a ride. And Steam was pretty dead. When I first brought it, I said, you know, Steam, 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 and nobody was really talking about Steam. I said, listen, Steam, look, look, look. And it was just such a pooch when I first brought it. I said, it's about ready to happen. And lo and behold. Now, Band is an interesting one because this is the first case that I'm aware of. There might have been others, but this is the first one that I told you sleeping, 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 and then we woke up. And so we should have gone down. We didn't. We didn't. See, so they're still messing with the AI. So I can tell you right now, we made a move here. We dropped out of the band. We didn't convincingly follow through with this. That's why I made this yellow. So obviously it didn't. So we are really kind of basically, you could say, in the next channel down. Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you with regard to this. Make a little adjustment on that. When we pop back out of this channel into the next above, convincingly, three candles is the rule. When we are 3 candles, hopefully 3 short candles before takeoff. But when we are 3 candles or 2 very impressed, one, let me back up and kind of close out a thought on that. You guys that don't follow my 3 candle rule get fucked all the time, and I'll tell you how this happens. Because what the bots, the trade, and by not my bots, the trading bots do, or the exchange bots do, they do this. What they'll do is they'll ride along a line and they'll go ah, and then they'll go another candle and they'll go whoop, and then they'll never see that again. That's 1 candle and 2 candles. You never trust a 2 candle formation, especially the wild ones, because this is how they FOMO you. They get you. Okay, you know, I'm not the only guy out here probably looking at this as a channel. So if we go along, let's take that out of there. If we go along, let's say we get up here like this, and we go out, hard candle, oh, it's taking off, FOMO, 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 and they turn, next one, they come back down, and we're back down the channel again, and we're doing this. That's how they get you. If this is going to be a real convincing move that's going to go higher, it's unlikely that it's going to rocket like that. It's almost a case for complete bullshit that if you see it rocket up like that, then it's not going to hold ground. Because why? Because of this guy right here. Watch that line. That'll tell you the true story. Look how far we already are. If this thing were to take off, do you seriously think that that would hold ground? You just have to know how to read the tea leaves. So let me show you. From here to here is 15%. What's my rule? Anytime we get 15% or more away, we will not hold ground. 15% we can hold ground for a little while, but either this has to come up or that has to come down. So I would tell you, I wouldn't be at all amazed to see this exact scenario play out. We'll break this half line, we'll creep up there. This line will probably be running somewhere in this neighborhood right here, and then this thing will take off, and everybody will FOMO, and it'll come back down in here, and it'll do some more of that. So what I'm telling you is the slow, progressive, steady move on Band will win the day. So what's the play? The play is this. I think Band is finally starting to get some respect. When it got listed, it was listed at about 25. I could be wrong about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Band got listed at about 25 bucks, I believe, when it got listed on Coinbase, and just fell in the dumper. I mean, it was just a dumpster fire. It has been and always will be, you know, up until this point. It got down. I think it went down as low as 11 bucks. I thought, man, those poor bastards that bought Band before it got listed, think, oh, I got the system figured out. I'm going to buy it at 25, and I'm going to get this Coinbase pump, and you know, I'm going to be rich and famous or whatever. Well, sucks to be you. So we have historical support and resistance up there at the 25. So we have proof already we can go that high. So what I'm saying is let's play the hand that we're dealt. Right here, we have an upward trend. Right here, we have a long, flat history of nothingness with a now upward trend. Now, I'm not saying we won't get a little bit of a down within our up, but our overall broad narrative is up. So if we get into the next band from here, we could probably consider buying when we break. Let me go ahead and do this a little easier. When we break this line right here, the overall, let's just make that a hard line. When we break that generalized area, which is above this dotted line right here, then there's a case to be made for probably buying and going ahead and riding the ride. Because when this thing does get a breakout, and it should, it'll break out probably as high as $20, which from here to here is a 15% move. And I think we're days away from that probably happening. Realistically speaking, I think we're days away from that happening. And it could go higher because, like I said, we have support and resistance up there at 25 bucks. So, you know, if we went from 25 bucks, we could go from where we're at here. Let's take it up to 25 bucks. I mean, who's going to complain about a 40% move? You know, so the possibility, the potential is there. So is this a bad buy at you know 18 bucks? No. Broadly speaking, no, because you got the potential for a 40+% move. So, I want to talk about NEM. I have purposely been ignoring NEM for a long time. I'm not going to be doing it anymore because my mastermind group that I'm a part of, or it's not a mastermind group. My group of, I'm just going to call it a group of insiders. Let's just say it and leave it at that. So my insider group that I'm a part of has kind of hipped me to the greater narrative of what NEM is all about. NEM stands for New Economy Market. This is a Chinese coin. I've known this. We've known this for a very long time. This is going to have great influence in your lives going forward. Hate to say it, guys, but social credit score is what this is all about. Hate to tell you that, but that's what this is. This is a social credit score coin. It has its roots there. Now, you know, much like XRP, hate the bankers, buy the coin. hate social credit, buy the coin. So here we are sitting at 40 cents with no move to be had. Sleeping. That is not a wake up. Sleeping. Popped up. See, sometimes these sleepers get a warning shot across the bow and then they take them back. I can go back in some of the charts and show you that. Sometimes you get a little warning shot across the bow. They're letting you know something's going. And I'm telling you right now, I've made those calls. That's an opening move. That's a closing move. Technically speaking, if you're expecting a down market, you can expect it to go this way. But I don't think so. If you were to buy it right now, you're buying it, let's just call it at par. It's as if you bought it here, so no harm done. If you bought it at 40 cents right now, you're looking at the potential of possibly doing a 30% and more on this coin. NEM is Chinese, absolutely. So I'm telling you, you've heard, I've made the case. I have firmly made the case to you all night long that when I tell you, hey guys, look at this, what happens next? And I'm telling you, hey guys, look at this, because something's about to happen with NEM. And I don't think that is it. So you can also see, if you want to kind of make a case for that, you can see there's the start of the movement. There. Actually, there. So NEM to the moon. That's a cheap one. You know, don't load the boat on it, but definitely don't pass up on it. All right, so Doge, boy, Doge is just not in the news anymore. There's nothing to be predicted here, guys. I'm very reticent to make any kind of bearish prediction for Dogecoin, because over and over and over again, I mean, this is, I told you guys, sleeping giants or sleeping, wake up running, you know. And here we are. I wouldn't say we're sleeping again, but again, there's the warning shot right there. So I'm inclined to believe that this isn't it. This is, and look how that matches the line right there. So if you spin it around the other direction, so Doge is about to do that. Why do I say that? Because there's the opening move. There's the closing move right there. So Doge is probably, Cali girl, are you on here listening? Because you're about to make some money, girl. 12.5% on Doge. For all you guys that like to live life recklessly, there's 12% reason to do so. And we can see if anytime I see these, I always like to kind of draw people's attention to them. So we can see a nice trend line right there. Nice trend line. There, 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 and there. Top end on, which one were you asking me, Paul? I'm sorry, I just saw your comment. Which, Dogecoin is not a blue chip. I know you're not talking about that one. So, are you talking about NEM? What's the high end? I don't know. NEM is it a blue chip? No, it's not a blue chip. Should you own it? Yeah, I believe so. I definitely believe so. I would put NEM in the same category as I would put ZIL and Kava and tezos, those kind of things. Tezos is kind of a lower end blue chip, but I would put it among excuse me, I would put it amongst those top 15 coins that I would own, definitely. If I bought it at this price, would I hold it and just keep on holding it? Yeah, I wouldn't be flipping it for no 30% or 15% moves. I would hold it for way up in here somewhere. You know, this is probably a year, 2-year hold, but remember the day I told you that this thing is social credit score, because this thing's going to have a huge impact on society. And I don't talk about my work with remote viewing and my work with mediums and stuff like that very often, because I kind of try to keep my personal hobbies and other professions aside from this individual thing. But it does kind of bleed and contaminate a little bit. Our group looked at the future a little bit, and this is where NEM came up. This is kind of why it jumped into on my thing. And China, we'll look at this from the standpoint of what you already know, suspect, have heard, whatever. China is they've got a plan called the 2040, the 2049 plan. I mean, they're very long thinking people. I mean, they got it all mapped out how they want to take over the world and whatever. They're not talking about this year, next year. They're perfectly capable of the 100-year plan. They're notorious for that. So NEM is one of the pieces of a very, very large puzzle. But there is going to come a time when basically, well, let's look at a few world events that are pseudo-related. So Russia and China got together. I don't know if you guys caught this on American news. Russia and China got together, and they basically unilaterally agreed, we're not going to use the dollar anymore. We're done with that crap. So that puts us sitting on the front porch. And so our dollar instantly, 2/3 of the world doesn't want shit to do with our money anymore. And they've as much as come out and told us that. So they're doing their own thing. Their own thing includes NEM, social credit score. China, if you look at some of the other news that's been all over YouTube, they're developing, Great Reset. This collapses. To say it's orchestrated would be underserving that statement greatly. Um, to believe that Chinese have infiltrated our way of life would be a massive understatement too. We are broadly speaking marching towards the Chinese agenda, of which this is very much a part of. So the dollar is going to go into massive decline and kind of be, is what it is, and then we're going to have to reinvent what the dollar actually is. So the dollar, as you know it, within 5 years is going to be a relic of history. And so the new coins that are going to serve us on a daily basis are going to be those that are much more tied to the Chinese agenda, and one of them is NEM, and several other ones are going to be part of it also. Bitcoin. I'm here to tell you I've got my whole other agenda or my whole other narrative on Bitcoin, but don't ever try and factor Bitcoin in as being something that's going to be part of the broader thing, because it's not. It's a stepping stone to something else, but it's already been compromised, and you're going to start hearing all kinds of bad news about Bitcoin here in the next 12 to 24 months. People will be fleeing that to something more stable. But there's wars going on right now to hack all of these coins, and so basically all of these coins are going to be subject to, if you think I just put my stuff in the Trezor or my stuff in a ledger and be safe, you know better than that. So if it's digital, it's subject to being hacked. No matter where you think you have it, it's subject to being hacked. So one of the ones that's not going to be hacked because they don't want it to be hacked is going to be NEM. I'll just leave it at that. So this is one of these deals where before I spin down too many rabbit holes, this is one of these deals where diversification may be the thing that saves you. This is why I tell you I'm not big on 20, 30, 40 coins, because I think there's a point of lunacy with that. But if you are all in XRP, if you are all in XLM, if you are all in Bitcoin, you're a fool, because you're just one oops away from losing everything. Which is no different than investing in real estate or investing in whatever bonds, stocks, whatever. Having a basket of currencies in case one gets hacked, having a basket of currencies and having those currencies in multiple wallets is the smartest thing that you could do, because the theme for the new millennium is uncertainty, and we're going to have plenty of that. So that's about as far as I'm going to go with this little dissertation. But NEM, to kind of go back and encapsulate what I'm saying here, NEM is moving to the front on something that you should be paying attention to. They are not pushing it right now. They are not bringing it out to be important yet, which means that's a steal of a lifetime. This is kind of like XRP China style, Chinese government style XRP, if you want to look at it that way. That's vague as I can possibly make it, but effectively you could put this in the same category as XRP. All right, so Enjin just got listed on Coinbase, and we talked about this a little bit more. So did I not say that was going to go down to that line? Here we are, we're on it. So exactly what I told you. It's gonna come down. During this broadcast, I told you expect to see it come down, and lo and behold. So should it go down further? Yeah, if we're going to go down any further, so let me take it both directions here just to be fair. So if we're going to go both directions with this, you can see strength in both moves. However, I'm telling you, I favor the downside. You can trend line that whole thing. It's kind of coming to the middle of that channel. This is not a solid play right here. This is more of a solid play. I would put this at 20-80 likelihood, 80% down, 20% up. So there's your chance to buy back Enjin. And again, opening move, all the way over, closing move. There's your opening move, there's your closing move. So now when we get to here, I expect it will probably start to move upwards again, because this is basically all to do with the Coinbase thing. So we're giving back to, for the sake of getting back to where it should be after the post hype pump. Would put it right here, and that whoops, and that would be 2.8. All right, so ETN, whoops. ETN, we're still walking that trend line. I don't think that I fully feel convicted that we broke it yet, given the fact that we're still. So we'll come down to this line right here. That right there is a move to bring that down further. And we'll two-step it down to this line. So this purple box is still a fairly decent conclusion. All right, well, that be that for tonight, guys. Any questions? I do want to look at Bow here real quick. So that one's going to be a monster, boys. That one's going to be a big monster. All right, so no further questions. I will close her out. So again, you guys that are new to the stream, thank you for joining us. Be sure to join us at the unfairadvantage.chat. That's absolutely free. However, if you do subscribe, we do have a VIP gold and one in platinum level chat where I do give inside calls on them mostly every single day. I give you a call for free. Within the subscription things, I tell you what I'm trading, how I'm trading it, when I'm buying, when I'm selling, stuff like that. I'll get you a question here in a second, Teddy. So if you guys do want to subscribe, go to fibbycharts.com. Go to right here. Let me get back onto the main website. Come on now. There we go. Go to the main site. Just go to subscribe right here. And just pick. Most of the guys are choosing gold, but many of you guys are upgrading to platinum, which gives you so much more. Gives you all the new tokens. We have over 60. Going to be about 75 by the time I'm done. It also gives you all the DeFi programs and stuff like that. Plus a lot more. I give a lot more direct calls, a lot more personal time and stuff like that with this. So this one, and if you guys are trading over $25,000 in cash or coins and stuff like this, this is really where you need to be, because you know, gold. A lot of my guys in gold are starting to step up because they're making enough money. It's starting to be worth it for that additional information and stuff like that. So that's where you do that. And of course, if you want to learn to trade and stuff, I'll be getting back to the classes here pretty soon. But that is still open. Our Learn to Trade class is a one-time fee, $149, lifetime access. Every time I do another class, you can go back for free and join the next class and the next class. All the stuff is videoed. You can go back and re-reference it, so it is complete lifetime access. So there's all that. So again, like I said, join us at the unfairadvantage.chat, and that is it for today, guys. I will address your question here real quick, Teddy. Do I think ETN will ping pong in the purple box for a while? Let me go back one step backwards. Probably yes. I don't need to open up the chat to that. Yeah, I think right now we're basically going to be looking at, for the next couple of days, anything that's going to be in a ping pong move is going to ping pong, and then it's going to eventually capitulate. But as we get closer to the 15th, that's when we're all going to be holding our breath. So if we get past the 15th and we don't get the crash, I mean, here I am with egg on my face, but I mean, I've been playing Chicken Little for damn close to a month. I mean, you just don't see markets naturally do this without a ridiculous run up, without some form of substantial market wide pullback. And theta notwithstanding, we have not seen it, so we have to have it. If we're going to play by the rules, we have to have it, and we're just, you know, sooner or later they can delay it and they can manipulate it and they can they can do whatever, but eventually the reality has to pull back. We can't just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, because markets don't work that way. So, all right, guys. Well, that is it. So thank you for joining me. Be safe. Be good. Be good at it. Till tomorrow.